You ever taken an exogenous?
Yeah, I can never doubt myself, I know better. All of you critics be acting like you know better. Blowing the smoke, but I know when the dust settles that I'm in my element. It's evident that there's levels to the game. All of those dark nights, got me feeling like rain. I ain't never need your help, I know you wishing me well. A penny for your thoughts, but seeing no change. I snap for the sun like Diddy. The riches got a mad ass son, I'm like Billy. I ain't never switch up, whole team with me. But known for my city like OAGZ. Set the pace as long as you finish. Consumers find a way inside your business. Babble if they try to dabble in it and they hate the fact that they may have to witness. You tryna aim for the top like this, and you're in your element with a fire like this, and they hoping you fall and they praying you miss, but it's all in the risk. I got you with the switch, you know. I'm in the zone. Give me the throne. One shot, that's all that you got. That's all that I know. Foot on the gas. 155 on the road. You could be a friend of me, an enemy. I'm in my element, ooh, yeah. I'm in my element, ooh, yeah. I'm in my element, I'm in my element, ooh. I'm in my element, ooh, yeah. I'm in my element, ooh, yeah. Keep that same energy. I'm in my element, ooh, yeah. I'm in my element, flow is like water. I'm forced through the fire, I'm feeling like gold. Gotta stay grounded, stay down to earth. Following God and you grinding, you do as you told. I don't work to make you like me, but I'm front and center, word to Spike Lee. And God came in the nick of time. They think I'm crazy, but I might be. Let's run it up, run it up, run it up. We beating the odds just to sum it up. You know it's a rap, never waistlines, and I'm cutting the weight like a tummy tuck. That mean I'm about to give it out right now. You see what's coming down the line, I never pipe down. I give 100% and be trying to stun on my enemies. In my element is crazy, it's the mic shine. I'm in the zone. Give me the throne. One shot, that's all that you got. That's all that I know. Foot on the gas. 155 on the road. You could be a friend of me, an enemy. Keep that same energy. Yeah, I'm in my element. Ooh, yeah, I'm in my element. I'm in my element. Ooh, yeah, I'm in my element. Ooh, yeah, I'm in my element. Ooh, yeah, keep that same energy. I'm in my element. Never switch up. 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 Keep that same energy. Never switch up. I'm in my element.
Yeah. Salute ATP, what's good. Salute. Clap it up one more game. Yeah, we in the building. Shout out to everybody who's in the building early today. Make sure you guys hitting the like button, of course, as you stepping into the building. Hit the subscribe button, of course. Same old story. A lot of boxing to talk about today. Guys, we do have a lot to cover. Shout out to everybody who's in the chat right now. Sam from Jersey, salute. Big Boss, Big G Boss in the building. Sagab Fett. Sagba said, Dubai on form. Yesterday was Haitian Flag Day. You already know. If you know, you know already. I should have played that, but I don't know if I was going to get copywritten if I played some Haitian Flag Day music today. Big Boss. Sagab Fett. SOB TV in the building, man. Salute. Roger that in the building. Ill Will in the building. What's goody, man? Sam, what's goody? Yeah, let's get it, man. We got a lot to talk about today. A lot of things developing. And if you've been here on the channel, you know we've been keeping you up to speed with everything that's been going on in the space. So a lot of these things that are developing right now shouldn't have shocked you. You should have expected a lot of it. The Ryan Garcia, Conor Benn, somewhat of an announcement made by Ryan Garcia. We know that Ryan Garcia was going to be showing up on Jimmy Fallon. Is it Jimmy Fallon? On the Fallon show, whatever it was, right? Was it Jimmy Fallon? I think it was Jimmy Fallon, right? Was it Jimmy Fallon? Yeah, it was Jimmy Fallon, right? We knew that he was going to pop up there, and there was a good chance he was going to make some sort of announcement. It hasn't been made in an official capacity as far as the announcement being made by maybe, let's say, Golden Boy or Zuffa or Turki Alalshikh or whoever might be helping to facilitate this fight. But as I've been stating from the beginning, guys, it is what it is, right? Dana White has made his position very clear. through his actions, right? I mean, yes, he said words before that have had a lot of people discounting the idea of Zuffa Boxing participating in sanctioned body events. In other words, can Zuffa fighters participate in becoming a WBC champion, a WBO champion, IBF, WBA? Well, over and over and over again, we've seen Zuffa, Dana White in particular, campaign for his fighters to get involved in these fights. Obviously, we know maybe hasn't been made black and white, but I think the actions have supported and spoken clearly, louder than any words could speak as far as what their intentions are. And now Ryan Garcia, WBC champion, carrying that belt, and also a big money mover, right? Brings in a lot of money. And we know that the sanctioned bodies are all about their percentage. They're going to want to be involved in the biggest purses. And I told you guys, they're not going to, isolate themselves out of this conversation. So, of course, now that Ryan Garcia is holding the belt and him being very interested in making a huge mega fight, including Conor Benn, another somewhat megastar on the UK side of things, everybody has to get in where they fit in, right? So we got to watch and see what happens between Dana White and Oscar De La Hoya. Will Oscar De La Hoya be involved in this? You got to think that he will be involved in this. You got to believe that Turki Alalshikh will be involved in this. Dana White obviously works very close with Turki Alalshikh, even with rumors saying that he's going to be, promoting the Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua fight in September. Both Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn have stated that over their dead bodies. Well, we might have to see some dead bodies then, right? I don't know, because it doesn't seem like that's really affecting the bottom line, their position on this. Now, whether or not these promoters will decide to get in front of their fighters, making these life-changing paydays and just drawing that line in the sand and saying, listen, you're just not allowed to go and make those fights happen because we don't deal with Dana White, then that's the next level of conversation we might get into later, right, as things develop. I don't think that's going to be the case, because now, the pressure might get reversed and be on these promoters who will be losing their fighters one by one if they can't get involved in these conversations. So what do I picture happening? I picture the fight happening, right? And I picture Dana White and Oscar De La Hoya, however that ends up looking, having to work out their differences. And I see Conor Benn and Ryan Garcia probably getting ready to make a fight in the coming months. I don't see the sanctioning bodies getting in the way of that, but we'll see, right, as time moves on. Also, we'll be talking about today Keyshawn Davis's versus Nahir Albright. We'll talk about that fight card reaction, right? We'll talk about the back end. What should we expect, right? There was two specific fights on that card that make a big difference in the conversation of American boxing, obviously, and also in some of the biggest fights that can be made right now. Keyshawn Davis really making easy work of Nahir Albright. We'll talk about that. What's next for Nahir Albright? I have no idea, right? I don't even know who he's actually with. Maybe he'll be making a move to Zuffa Boxing. I don't know, right? Nahir Albright, I think, let down a lot of his supporters just a little bit, right? I think it looks like people were expecting him to, show up a little bit more, go for it. It was his moment to go for it, leave it all in the ring. That didn't necessarily happen, but maybe more important right now, Keyshawn Davis in the headlines. What is Keyshawn Davis going to be doing next? We'll talk about that, right? Because he does have some options on the table. We've seen Devin Haney respond via social media. Sounds like he's very interested in the Keyshawn Davis fight. If you guys know the Haney team, you know that they are strategic in everything that they do. This might be the perfect time to make that fight happen. Keyshawn Davis, 15 professional fights into his career, not that experienced in comparison to a Devin Haney. Is this the time for Devin Haney to make that fight happen? Will Zuffa be involved in that conversation? What does that look like? Is that a big Riyadh Season Ring Magazine fight? Does that get on the undercard of, I don't know, an Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury? Or I have no idea, right? But look, Keyshawn Davis is somebody who's definitely rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. He's an antagonist. He's his outside of the ring activities, as far as in front of that camera and in front of that microphone. Listen, man, I have no problem with it. I'm actually a big fan of the way Keyshawn Davis is moving. I know people don't like the way he moves. They feel like this, that, and the other. But I think, listen, in that traditional quote unquote space of boxing, it takes antics, unfortunately, at times, especially when you don't have the resume, when you don't have the proper accolades, and when you don't have the support of the sanctioning bodies and whoever regulates and rules over boxing to just, put you in position. You can't just earn yourself a position. You got to shake it up sometimes. You got to make some waves. You got to shake the table. You got to do all these different little things at times to get in the way of these big fights. Keyshawn Davis right now, for all intent and purposes, high risk, low reward fighter. I don't care who he gets in the ring with. He's going to be a problem. Does he beat everybody? We don't know. Time will tell, right? I don't know if I believe right now that he just beats everybody, but I think anybody Keyshawn Davis gets in the ring with can take an L. And I think more importantly, the people he can get in the ring with know they can take an L, right? He's not easy money. You got to be strategic. You got to make it make sense on how you attack the Keyshawn, the amazing Davis, math problem, right? So Devin Haney seemingly seeing something in Keyshawn Davis's game based off that Nahir Albright fight. We'll talk about it because I think I even spoke on this before, right? That maybe Keyshawn Davis does need a vanilla performance. Maybe he needs a performance that makes him look a little bit more human. Maybe that will attract some of the fights he's trying to have. Maybe him stopping everybody isn't the best way for him to get in position. I feel like we've seen Jaron Ennis go through the same thing a little bit. It seems like Jaron Ennis couldn't get anything to move for him in the welterweight division until he had a vanilla performance against a Karen or David Avanesian. Then all of a sudden, things started moving his direction. And Emiliano Stanionis ended up forcing the PBC to pull the trigger and giving him an opportunity to become a unified champion and a lineal champion in the welterweight division. So Keyshawn Davis coming off of what a lot of people feel like is a vanilla performance. I'm not necessarily in belief of that, but I know I get it. We don't gotta go there. You don't gotta. What do you mean? Listen, I know people want to see knockouts. They want to see all the action, right? I'm a purist a little bit more. I can be entertained by a good, strategic, cerebral approach to boxing 12 rounds where I feel like Keyshawn dominated the fight. That being said, a fight that Keyshawn Davis really didn't ask for. He made it clear, very vocal on that Bob Arum in Top Rank wanted that fight to happen. So maybe he didn't get up for that fight, right? He wasn't excited about the fight. We'll talk about that, of course. We'll talk about Fabio Wardley activating a rematch clause against Daniel Dubois. I'm not shocked that Fabio Wardley did that, guys, right? I'm not shocked, but I am wondering if his team is supporting that. I'm sitting here right now on my soapbox, on my platform, saying that I question, just from the way Fabio Wardley was handled in that heavyweight fight, how much support does his team have for him? How much is Frank Warren? Is he more of a strategic stepping stone for up and coming? Who is he a strategic stepping stone for the big stars from Frank Warren's point of view? Because I just feel like if that was Moses Atalma and he was just outclassed that way and he was put through the ringer that way, he would be given A, the amount of time he needs to recover, and B, build him up. Put him in a fight that makes sense, get his pedigree up. You saw how he was completely outclassed. He didn't just have one little thing that he needs to get tweaked in order to win that fight. Granted, Fabio Wardley does carry that power in that right hand. Big game changer to have for a heavyweight boxer, to be one of the heaviest punchers in the division. So anything can change. But at the same time, I think normally, wouldn't the protocol be to build this guy back up, right? I don't know. It is what it is, right? I don't know. We'll talk about that as well. Is that the smart move for Fabio Wardley? Does that make sense? We'll talk about that. I told you guys already, Devin Haney calls out Keyshawn Davis as well. Also, interestingly enough, in the news, as Dimitri Bivol is getting ready for his fight against Michael Eifert, his team speaks out on David Benavidez and how they are going to be focused and dialed in on David Benavidez for the next fight. They want to shut David Benavidez up, but interestingly enough, a little bit of a pivot from the Benavidez team. We'll talk about it. Samson Leakowitz, who still represents David Benavidez's interest, seems to be hinting towards the side of not necessarily being worried about the Bivol fight no more, saying that they won't be waiting on Bivol the way they had to wait on Canelo Alvarez in the super middleweight division, which I think is two completely different conversations. I don't know if Canelo Alvarez ever said that he did want to fight David Benavidez next, that they would ever have gotten out the way, or maybe they would have. I don't know. But it seems like Samson Leakowitz entertaining options, right? As we know, David Benavidez has had a lot of opportunities open for him after that huge dominating performance in that cruiserweight division over Zurdo Ramirez. We saw Turki Alalshikh put out there that he's interested in the Alexander Usyk fight for David Benavidez. That would be a huge payday, huge fight for David Benavidez. Is that the case? Is David Benavidez pivoting on his position on fighting Dimitri Bivol? Don't forget, David Benavidez also spoke about potentially trying to get Dimitri Bivol to agree to a catchweight fight at 190 pounds. Interesting, right? This from somebody who wanted to become undisputed in the light heavyweight division. We talked about this before the fight even got put together at the cruiserweight division. After David Benavidez performed in the cruiserweight division and picked up those unified titles, how motivated would David Benavidez be to cut that weight and come back down to the light heavyweight division and fight Dimitri Bivol? Right? I think we might be getting answers if we read the ring and we read the writing on the wall. Seems like David Benavidez wants to push for that fight with Dimitri Bivol to happen sooner rather than later. And if they have to wait, looks like they're not going to wait. Maybe they'll entertain the Jairo Pataya fight. Maybe they're heading in a different direction. Maybe they're seeing legacy tied up with the Alexander Usyk fight, and they want to make that fight happen and take Turki Alalshikh up on that offer. We'll talk about that as well with the panel, obviously. And then, we'll talk about a little bit about Usyk this weekend as well. But I mean, Thursday we'll really focus that energy there. But we are getting ready to see the Pyramids of Giza fight shoot up on Saturday when we're watching Alexander Usyk and Rico Verhoeven figure it out over that WBC title. We'll talk about all of that. We'll talk about all of that and then some, right? And whatever else is on there. We'll open the panel up. Of course, that's what we're going to try to do every show. We'll open the panel up. So, guys, pay attention to the show. Eventually, the link is going to pop up. Come up. Let me know what you think about the topics we're talking about. It is what it is. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. I see the chat is going a little bit busy today. Mine, yours in the building. Salute to you, man. Ill Will in the building says Keyshawn should go trash Norman. It's an easy rank jump. Hey, man. I mean, and Keyshawn spoke about that too as well, right? So we'll talk about all that as far as Keyshawn Davis's options, because obviously he has a lot of options at 140 pounds. Some would argue that is a more exciting competitive division, but he obviously also made it clear that we saw him not hit the weight on the first try. Does that mean Keyshawn Davis is having a hard time making the weight? And is it such a hard time that he might just move up to 147 pounds? And if he is going to move to 147, Devin Haney obviously seems like the more payday of a fight, right? The bigger premier fight, but maybe he gradually would rather go up into the division. Is Brian Norman Jr. more of a, I don't want to say tune-up, but is he a softer touch than Devin Haney after we just watched Brian Norman Jr. and his performance on that same card? He made short work of a Josh Wagner. How do we, I love the performance by Brian Norman Jr., right? I'm completely, I was like, that's what I wanted to see. And we'll talk about that. We'll talk about Brian Norman as well in this one as well. Roger that in the building. What's up, Roger that? What's good with you? My brother, Maaki Fly Frequency, hit me with the salams. Walaikum salam, rahmatullah. To my Aki Fly Frequency in the building. Akeem Blake in the building says, peace to the gods on earth, Blake, guidance, blessings. What up? What up, family? What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? Who am I missing here? Am I missing anybody? Looks like we got a lot of the same guys here. Pugilism in the building says Haney must take a chance to beat 15-0 Keyshawn and stop the Keyshawn hype train for solid money, or take the risk marinating for more money and increased chances on losing to a leveled up Dragon Ball Key. I agree with you, Pugilism. I think it's all about strategy with Keyshawn Davis, right? Because I think without a doubt, he's the kind of fighter who gets better and better with time. If you're going to get Keyshawn and if you know you can handle Keyshawn and you can beat him, earlier the better. And I'm thinking that maybe Team Haney is seeing that writing on the wall, right? They're seeing that. And, maybe right now is the time to strike before he gets acclimated to 147, before he gets more fights under his belt, before he, more importantly, gets experience under his belt. Do we attack the Keyshawn Davis mathematical problem now before it gets more complicated, before the interest compounds a little too high and that fight becomes more of a risk versus a reward that would get by getting a Keyshawn Davis on the paper, on the resume right now before he starts pushing people around, right? It is what it is, man. Let me see it. Roger that says Ben Davis says needs to work with Wardley on developing a jab. Yeah, we got to talk about all that, man. We definitely gonna talk about that, man. Let me see what else I'm missing. Left hand Manny in the building. Salute. Those names, man. Left hand Manny. Salute to you, family. What's good, man? Bruce Gas Boxing, the real Bruce Gas Boxing in the building. What's good? What's good, Bruce? A lot to talk about today, man. Let me see here. Devo 9846 says, I want that fight next, but I don't know if Top Rank gonna allow Keyshawn to fight Devin right now. I mean, and that's another part of the conversation I will talk about today as well, as far as Top Rank's position with Keyshawn Davis. Rumors also circulating in the space that maybe Keyshawn's trying to get up out of that Top Rank deal. Maybe he wants to be independent. Maybe he has other things on the table that he wants to entertain. Keyshawn Davis is somebody who, for the most part, wears his emotions on his sleeves. So when you start seeing him not make weight, not be motivated, he clearly wasn't on board with this Nahir Albright fight. That was something that the company made the decision on. I don't want to read into it too much, right? But there's a lot of opportunities out there for Keyshawn Davis, who, by the way, just to remind you guys, is a Ring Magazine ambassador, right? He works directly with Turki Alalshikh. He's in the same conversation as an Abdullah Mason, as a Bruce Shushu Carrington. All these guys have signed and have relationships with Turki Alalshikh as an ambassador to Ring Magazine. So he's eligible to be part of the big paydays, right? And I think that's what he's looking at. I think he's looking at that big picture when he's trying to make a decision on how he wants to move. Is Top Rank cooperating with Keyshawn Davis? Is he helping Keyshawn Davis, or are they still holding it against Keyshawn Davis? What happened in Virginia, in Norfolk, Virginia, some odd months ago, whatever, 6 months plus, whatever it was ago, or more. I don't remember what the dates were on how long it was, but is that an issue? Is Keyshawn kind of dealing with the top? Is Keyshawn the new Tiafimo of Top Rank? Is Top Rank and Keyshawn at odds? Are they bumping heads, or are they on the same page? He doesn't hold the title right now. He's at 140 pounds. What's the next move for him? Are they going to try to give him a fight that's not really going to get him that pay? I don't know, right? We'll talk about all those things, man. Let me see. We'll allow Turkey will fund it through Riyadh season 100%. 100%. Top Rank just served 12 rounds of Devin's jab and grab style through Nahir Albright at the scope. That's what that was. Okay. Hey, man, pugilism. I like how you read in the ring. I like the take, man. We'll talk about all that, man. Shout out to everybody in the building. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. I'm going to bring them up here. You know what I mean? Bring up the co-host. Let's talk about these topics. Hold on 1 second here, bro. I just want to do this the right way. Bam. Make sure it's showing up the right way. Bam. Shout out to Angela Reyes, guys. And Angela Reyes here in the building right now. Angela, what's goody with you? What's goody with you, man?
Yeah, no, it was kind of crazy that, we called that fight on Saturday. And no lie, bro, I went into CBS Studios on Sunday, and that is not the subject at all. You know what the biggest subject in the world is when it comes to combat sports, bro?
What was it?
Conor McGregor. That is the majority of that segment. I mean, I was able to squeeze in some Zupa stuff in there because it's CBS, and but damn, bro, Conor McGregor is just lighting up the space. So maybe that's why Ryan showed up at Jimmy Fallon, because he knows
he already planned on showing up at Jimmy Fallon. But I mean, I think in the boxing space, you know what I'm saying, that's not the biggest story, right? Maybe the biggest story in the news. I mean, Conor McGregor is going to shake up the space if he jumps up and he gets active. That's what's going to happen, right? But I think in the boxing space, probably the biggest news is Ryan Garcia kind of, in his little Jimmy Fallon situation. But we saw that coming. I'm a little bit more interested in the position of the people around that whole entire Ryan Garcia Conor Benn situation, right? Because if anything, that's what gets in the way or pushes something like that to happening. But look, Ryan Garcia jumping up on that Jimmy Fallon show, making that announcement, pretty much being very confident, seems like, in his position, that he sees that being happening in Vegas. He sees it being against Conor Benn. He even gave a date, September 12th. Seems like that's the story. That's probably the next big thing, right? The next big fight, because what comes with that fight, right? Which is ultimately Zuffa boxing and, I mean, Golden Boy to a degree, the Zone, right? Coming together in this sanctioning body situation being addressed more and more every single time about Zuffa not being able to compete in sanctioned body events.
Yeah, no, I think Ryan. I mean, if you guys pay attention to the channel, we've talked about the whole Ryan's going to fight Conor Benn thing for the last month now, and this is Ryan obviously coming out there being first one to kind of put it out. He doesn't want to get sued like Virgil Ortiz is getting sued or anything like that. I think it's very telling that he's on ESPN First Take. That's the first thing that he does, and then he goes on Jimmy Fallon. This all has to do with Hollywood, of course, and who's the biggest name in Hollywood that pretty much can control everything? That's Ari Emanuel, who's the CEO of WME. So wouldn't surprise me if Ryan's got some kind of a sports agent or acting agent type of deal, some way, somehow with WME. In the meantime, we'll see what Oscar does, right? Because I've always said, I've said it from the beginning. First thing is Oscar gonna mess around and have an argument with Ryan Garcia about this? Probably not, because he doesn't want to sit there and not make money off of Ryan Garcia. So then the second thing is going to be what I've always said, which is purse bid. Unless you change the purse bid rule, if Oscar messes around, it'll go to purse bid. When it goes to purse bid, Zuffa's going to go ahead and outbid him. And then you're going to see Ring Magazine, Netflix, September. He's saying September 12th. It'll be interesting. I wouldn't say that would be a no, just because we've already seen Turkey do kind of a similar thing last year, where he did a Riyadh card and then he did a New York card. So why couldn't he do the same thing for Canelo? Do a Riyadh card and do another card in the daytime. But I do think it's most likely not going to be a DAZN. I don't think DAZN would be able to afford as much as what Netflix would want.
Right?
Netflix,
I think that. Yeah, I think I feel you on that. Honestly, I think that Turkey's probably going to be involved in this, obviously, one way or the other. And because of that, I don't even think the purse bid is going to necessarily be part of it all the way. I think this is going to be about negotiating. I think offers has already been made. Money's already been put on the table. Oscar's going, look, we've talked about Oscar's position since he renewed his contract with DAZN, right? He's definitely more face, mascot action now than he is, in the powerful position that he was in prior to it. I believe that DAZN kind of put their foot down. It looks like they drew a line in the sand with Oscar De La Hoya, and no more getting in the way of the biggest fights, right? That's the big thing with DAZN. DAZN wants to put on the biggest fights. They want to be part of the conversation of the most competitive fights happening. The boxing landscape has become very competitive with the addition of Zuffa, with Turkey's position, right? And the fan base also, the boxing fans are also demanding the biggest fights, right? They're becoming more and more hungry. You got to feed the beast. So I always kind of look at Oscar as just, he's just good talk. He's just there to just do clapback Thursdays, but I don't see Bernard Hopkins there no more. I don't know what position it is. Bernard Hopkins, to me, seems like one of those guys, if you try to quiet him down too much, he'll do what he just did, right? Like, if he doesn't agree with something, it's like, you don't want me in front of the mic. You don't want me talking about these things. I'll just be at home. Send me my check. Oscar's going to play his position because he's money hungry. He has a very expensive lifestyle, expensive woman, expensive home, expensive things. He doesn't want to get out of the boxing space. This is his money. I don't know if he's, super invested in real estate or anything else to make his money. This is his bread and butter. So he's going to have to play his position and sit where Daddy DAZN tells him to sit in this position, and big brother Ryan Garcia tells him where to sit down at and collect your percentage, right? This is going to be more so about DAZN and maybe Paramount or Turki Alalshikh and Netflix, and how they're going to figure out how they're going to get paid. And I think just very similar to what we saw the PBC do with DAZN, I can see DAZN being involved in that the same way, right? Like, we want to shoot a pay-per-view over here as well. We want that to circulate over here as well. We want to get our piece of the money, or you're going to pay us a substantial amount of money to keep us not having the pay-per-view. Either way, right? That's what's going to move the needle in this. And we know,
well, it's funny because I'm getting tired of trying to explain to everybody that Zuffa's coming and Zuffa's coming heavy. And it's mainly because Turkey's coming and Turkey's coming heavy. And you already saw Netflix. I mean, it was crazy because even talking to the average casual sports reporters, And I asked them, hey, who do you guys think is the heavyweight champion of the world? And they all said Tyson Fury. That's crazy, right? Because the heavyweight champion of the world is Alexander Usyk. So what does that tell you, Clay? They don't even know what the hell the zone is, bro. That's sports anchors. They don't know what the zone is. All right. So Netflix is powerful. Netflix just did a Kevin Hart roast. I don't know how much money they spent on that crazy shit. But there, you know, if Ryan Garcia does fight Conor Benn, and I'll say if until it happens, but you and I both
100%.
know it's going to happen. I mean, this is ridiculous. So it'll be on Netflix unless the Russian guy wants to start coming up strong and going up against Netflix. Bro, even, I mean, look, I'm not trying to throw shade on the Usyk fight coming up because whatever, but 8 a.m. is when it starts here in the West Coast. Bro, even the restaurants and the bars in Vegas ain't open yet. And you know I'm not paying for that pay-per-view. I'm going to be listening to your ass. I'm going to be having Claymore Ray tell me what the action is. Like, oh, what's going on? Okay, cool. Thanks, Clay. Because why would I pay that much money to watch the Pyramids of Giza when all I know is that Alexander Usyk's going to beat the shit out of Rico Verhoeven, bro? I'm not paying money for that. Now, if they want to make that shit for free, if they were smart, if the zone was smart, great. Right? But nah, bro. Nah, I'm listening to Claymore. Tune into ATV Combat Media. Claymore Rain for anyone who doesn't want to pay the
if I cover it, right? I might cover it. I should be covering it, but I don't know if I have anything.
For you, it's going to be at
like 11
a.m.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Salute 2 Cents. What's good with you, man? Lance Meyer, what's good, man? Yeah, man. Listen, man. Netflix seems to be like the neutral ground for that cross promotion space, right? For the big fights. Like if the zone doesn't want to concede, or Zuffa and Paramount doesn't want to concede, it seems like everybody's willing to meet on the Netflix, neutral territory, right? That's sanctuary for some of the biggest fights to happen and the biggest cross promotions to happen, and everybody can eat, get compensated properly, and the fans can get the big fights. So I agree with you. It's probably going to be a Netflix situation. I couldn't really see it. I would see it being on Netflix, right? Unless, the zone and the Paramount can come to some understanding that they agree to. I don't know. I just don't see it that way. I agree with you. I think it's a Netflix situation.
Look, man, if you guys are reading the ring, reading the room, again, pay attention to things that are happening outside of boxing, because Mark Shapiro was just talking that these are all public things that you guys could listen to, by the way. But he was doing a whole interview that had to do with JP Morgan Global and stuff. And he basically already said how with the Paramount, the merger and the whole bit going into 2027, you're going to start to see more HBO, TNT, Paramount all working together with Zuffa Boxing. And he was specific about it. I mean, come on, bro. Like, the zone's trying to compete against all of that right now. I just,
right.
Well,
the way that the zone competes in that space is by participating. They're not going to want to do the island thing, because that's going to. At the end of the day, it's about the fighters, right? I think the zone is realizing that right now. That's what Zuffa Boxing, Paramount, Turki Alalshikh has done, is he's giving the fighters options. And that's why I tell people, right? Taking away options from the fighters does not help the fighters. I know people in their position on the Ali Act. Do your research and your due diligence. I know I am. I'm watching it closely because I understand the points of contention that they want to make sure doesn't get crossed. I don't believe they're crossing those lines. I believe they're still leaving that there. But the fighters having options scares the promoters, right? Because now the promoters have to compete. It has to be apples to apples, oranges to oranges. So right now, the zone is realizing that, and that's why they've gotten more involved, right? They've become way more vocal with the promoters. They used to just kind of sit back and be like, this is a platform. We're giving you a deal. We won't get involved in your matchmaking. We're not going to get involved in this. We'll give you a budget. Give us boxing. Now they're more like, no, we're not paying for that fight. No, we want this fight. No, we want that fight. Why are they doing that? They're doing that because it's become way more competitive out here. Now, if the zone were to do an island thing, like what the promoters were doing, right? And that's what's happening here, is the control has moved from the promoters and has gone to the quote unquote network, right? Who's who wants to be in boxing for the long run, they're not doing that anymore. If they're paying for or giving a budget, this is equivalent to if Showtime would have told the PBC, we're going to start getting involved in the matchmaking. We're not just going to give you money, right? Right, Angelo? No, we're not doing that fight. We need this fight. We need that fight. Showtime, maybe that's where the mistake was, right? Allowing PBC at the time to control so much that they were able to kind of like suck money away from Showtime on the budget and do this the sport of the service, as well as shortchange the fans by making everything pay-per-view. So the Zone is getting more hands-on this, and that's why this whole entire Zuffa entrance into the space has become such a big deal, because the fighters don't have to anymore deal with one way of approaching their careers.
Right.
And if you're not going to give it to them and you put yourself on the island, then you're going to force these fighters' hands. Ryan Garcia clearly has made, is one of the biggest stars and upcoming stars in the game, and said, you ain't going to get in front of my money, bro. So I don't care about your little clapback Thursdays. I don't care about your little WBC sanctioning body rules. If you force my hand, I'm going with the money. If you force my hand, you're going to end up on the outside looking in. So my advice, when in Rome, you heard? Am I bugging Angelo? Like, you know what I'm saying?
No, man, I'm telling you, like, guys, pay attention to the first take Stephen A. Smith interview with Ryan Garcia, right? And you guys already know that Stephen A. Smith, who's on record, said, I'm getting no money from Dana White or anything. I just want to help Dana and everybody promote however they're going to do boxing, right? And Ryan Garcia is in there talking about how, yeah, I'm going to fight Conor Benn, blah, 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 who Conor Benn was on Stephen A. Smith's show. And I found it very interesting. I even had to text some of my friends who are Haney supporters, like us, Clay. We're Haney supporters too, because we're boxing supporters is what we are.
Right.
We're supporting it, right? But I was like, it's interesting how Stephen A. Smith's already coming out saying he doesn't believe Devin Haney could beat Ryan Garcia. Because the one thing I know about Stephen A. Smith is he likes to kind of play heel for a second. So I told you, Clay, when Devin Haney does the rollout for Zuffa, Haney's going to show up. He's going to confront Stephen A. Smith. He's going to say, hey, man, I heard you say I can't beat Ryan Garcia. There's going to be this back and forth.
Did he do that?
But really, oh, yeah, he totally did it yesterday. But it is going to be this fun little game between Haney
Wait.
Stephen A.
Devin
Smith.
Confronted Stephen A. Smith?
No. I said it will happen. It will.
Oh,
it will.
okay.
Because he hasn't even gotten a chance to be on First Take yet.
Yeah.
But when he does the Zuffa, when he does all of it, he'll get a chance. He'll call out Stephen A. Smith. Watch, this is all going to happen. It's almost scripted. Like, he's going to call out Stephen A. Smith for saying that he doesn't think Ryan Garcia could beat him. Devin Haney will play good guy and be the underdog. Ryan Garcia will be the bad guy. So long as Ryan Garcia, by the way, beats Conor Benn. Because how shocking would we all be if Conor Benn somehow... I mean, like, I'm just being honest, Clay, right? And I love Conor Benn. And I would love it if Conor Benn could do it. But seeing what we saw, bro, what's your percentage on Conor Benn beating Ryan Garcia? Based on what we've seen. That's a
70-30 situation. Conor Benn is just not world-class enough. Hasn't shown me world-class enough skills. But that being said, though, the second Chris Eubank fight, I did see world-class energy from him. I seen him box and control the distance and the range. I've seen good footwork. I've seen him compete at the level. I've seen him step up to the level he needed to step up to in order to beat a very elusive Chris Eubank. So he showed me that he has an aptitude in that fight. You know what I mean? So, not the Regis Prograis fight so much, okay? But the Chris Eubank fight, I saw potential there. So look, man, he's definitely committed. He's definitely committed to the sport. He wants to compete at the highest level. He believes in himself. He believes he brings those intangibles. And sometimes that unorthodox approach is, non-traditional approach throws people off, which is why I still give like Verhoeven like a 15% chance of beating an Alexander Usyk, because the reason I give him that much of a chance is because he is a disciplined, trained combat. He's a fighter, you know what I'm saying? And he does kickboxing, and he's been, sparring these champions and everything like that. And I think he's probably going to come with a unorthodox somewhat of an approach. And that could give Usyk a math problem to figure out for like 2 or 3 rounds, right? To be like, okay, this is different. He's not doing the thing that most boxers do. And I think at the end of the day, he's probably going to bring power. He's going to bring that don't get hit clean. I don't think Usyk wants to get hit clean by Verhoeven. You know what I'm saying? He wants to be defensively responsible in that fight. So, it is what it is. Sometimes it takes that.
No, but can I ask you, though, when's the last time you've seen Usyk get hit clean? Like, I just point to a fight.
Brother, I gave him 15%, bro. Listen, what do you want me to tell you, bro? You know what I mean? I said, I didn't sit here. Don't get me. I'm not on the side of sitting here trying to make an argument for Verhoeven to win that much. But what I am saying is, listen, man, I'm just going into the unorthodox bag. I'm saying the guy who doesn't box all the time, sometimes is erratic, he's more difficult, right? When we were talking about Rolly Romero fighting against Devin Haney, a lot of people were like, yo, watch out. Why? Because Rolly's what? Unorthodox. He's wild and he hits hard. And if, Devin's used to fighting with somebody who has a certain IQ that forces them into the position of being responsible. But what happens when you fight against a guy who got that bucket in him? Who got that bucket in them? You know what I'm saying? And they're willing to do something weird. Look, crazier things have happened, right? At the end of the day, Verhoeven is a legend in his discipline. He is the Usyk of his space.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So special guys can do special things if you give him the opportunity to. You better be on point. But I expect Usyk to be on point. I expect him to outclass him, but whoop his ass. I ain't gonna lie. And I think
that's why I'd rather listen to the sweet voice of Claymore Rain going, "Oh, big right, Usyk." I'd rather hear that than pay money to go watch something that I already know is gonna happen.
Shout out to Two Cents, who says, don't even have to be clean. Could be the top of the could be a top of the head shot. Dubois got dropped in 5 seconds. Yeah, crazy things happen. You know what I mean? Fabio Wardley is not a traditionally, sound, responsible fighter. But what? They kept him in there all the way to the 10th, 11th round. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because they know he got that right hand. And even though he's not delivering it, if he finds a way to deliver it, broken nose, shut eye, ass, multiple rounds of ass whooping later, he could beat Daniel Dubois if Daniel Dubois is irresponsible for one moment. You know what I'm saying?
Guys, I love the positivity. The only thing I can hope for is Rico Verhoeven takes it to the second half of a fight, because I don't even think he'll go past.
So what do you think about Rico Verhoeven making it to 12 rounds and a decision unanimous? I'm talking about 12 rounds.
Good for him, man, bro. That's awesome. I would love that. I would absolutely love it. I would love to hear how you call it too. You're right.
Listen.
I'm just saying, man. I think that there's a little bit of you can't compare Fury and Ngannou, because Fury even said he didn't train for that fight. He was fat.
But once again, a high level fighter. If you're not responsible, if you don't take your opponent serious,
right?
If Ngannou could put him down, right?
Okay, so here's
the serious. So.
I know, and if you're watching every single documentary that Usyk has never not taken a fight seriously, but he's so serious on this one, he's helping another dude get serious about his training too, and Anthony Joshua. So what are we talking about here, guys? This is like peak Apollo Creed. You know what I mean? Like, come on, Rico Verhoeven's gonna get. I will be surprised.
I'm never the guy who ends up looking crazy at the end of a fight, because I know it's boxing. I know it's combat sports, and on any given Sunday, especially in the heavyweight division, you better be on point. You bob wrong one moment, you weave the other way.
Right.
Rico Verhoeven's is not Jake Paul. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. He's better. In fact, he's better than Francis Ngannou, Clay.
Facts.
In terms of striking, he's way better than Francis Ngannou, right? I'm just saying that I don't think that this is the part of me that always tries to explain to people that if you've never really watched how boxers have to train, like really watch it up close, or gotten hit by them, whether you're taking it with a body shield or actually like catching mitts or whatever, boxing punches are different, because it's the Bruce Lee saying, Clay, right? I don't fear the man who knows 1,000 kicks. I fear the man who practiced one kick 1,000 times, right? That's what boxers know how to do with their hands. And I promise you, Rico Verhoeven has never felt hands like these before, bro. So if he goes past 6, Clay, I'll be very pleasantly surprised. I don't think it'll go past 6 rounds. I think it'll take Usyk 3 rounds to kind of get used to his rhythm, and then he's going to start pouring it on the next 3. You know, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see
I
what
mean,
happens.
the probability is probably in the direction of what you're saying, but you never know, man. And that's the thing about
never know.
combat sports that make it exciting. Is you never know. We'll be looking closely. Obviously, I'll be watching the fight. It is what it is. We'll see what happens. On the back end of that fight, obviously, now rumors. It's more than rumors. Turki Alalshikh's made his position very clear on Alexander Usyk and a potential David Benavidez fight happen. He wants to see that fight happen. Very interestingly enough, Samson Leikowitz looks like he's taking a bit of a different position now on this whole Dimitri Bivol situation. I don't know if you've been following it, but basically saying that they're not going to wait on Bivol the way they waited on Canelo. Which I think is funny to me, because it's like, the way you waited on, all of a sudden you've been waiting on Bivol the way you've been waiting on Canelo. I don't know if that's the case. Bivol has responded and said they want to make the fight happen. His team has come out and said that's who they want to focus on. They want to shut up David Benavidez and that team. They talking a lot of shit, and they're like, yo, the only way to do it is inside the ring. It just feels like Benavidez's team has pivoted a little bit on their stance on their future plans. And I think we talked about this as far as what would David Benavidez do on the back end of the kind of performance he did, right? We said, how motivated would he be to cut that weight and come back down to 175, right? And fight for, you know what I mean? Why would he do that when he has an opportunity to do something just as impactful in his division that he's a unified champion at with Opataya? And it looks like Turki Alalshikh's position on this, right, may have swayed Team Benavidez a little bit.
Yeah.
Are they entertaining?
I mean, I think. Yeah, no, I think it absolutely did, because David was partying at EDC this weekend in Vegas. So, you know, man, I don't know if he wants to cut weight. Hey, the champ needs to party. It's all good, baby. If that's how you living, bro, do your thing. But you know,
but that's part of it too.
I can't see him saying, let me go ahead and spend the next 5 months of my life trying to cut back down to 175. For why, Clay? You know, I think Samson is sitting there. Honestly, Turki, I'm sure, just like what you said, is probably very serious about the Usyk offer. And if you're Samson Leikowitz, you're probably sitting there going, man, my percentage of that is going to be pretty high.
Listen, I'm honestly shocked that Samson Leikowitz is still there. I've said this before. David Benavidez has gotten to the driver's seat of his career, and he's gotten everybody to act right? Samson's acting right. PBC's acting right. He's just like Ryan Garcia. He's let it be known, you ain't stopping me from getting these opportunities, bro. So you better either get with it or you're going to get left behind. So, of course, Samson Leikowitz is where he's supposed to be. David Benavidez, and this is the discipline part of the game, right? To cut that weight. If you're up in Vegas partying, drinking, you're already on the wrong foot to get in these conversations with the Alexander Usyks.
He's celebrating from a big win, Clay.
Listen, hey, we're here to call it, so we can't live it for you. Hey, what you do is what you do, and we'll call it. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, cutting weight and drinking doesn't work well together. You know what I'm saying? Cutting down 25 pounds. Listen, we've been up here talking about it. We don't think you should do it. Don't do it. We won't call bullshit on you if you don't do it. We're telling you we don't want you to do it. Stay your ass where you're at in the cruiserweight division. Defend those belts. Fight Ja Opataya. Okay? That's the biggest fight for you right now. And you compound that and combine that with the Alexander Usyk fight that's on the table, which I know for a fact in my mind and my heart of hearts. Let me not say facts, because I'm speculating, right? But I'd have to believe that money he's getting offered to fight Alexander Usyk dwarfs the money he would get for fighting Dimitri Bivol and cutting that weight, right? So that being said, being the businessman that I believe David Benavidez is, those private jet flights ain't for free. Those vacations he ain't taking vacations on Carnival Cruise Line with his girl. You know what I'm saying? This man, I'm sure, is renting out yacht boats. He's flying private jets. He's got bigger plates, bigger mouths to feed, and he's got to be concerned about his pockets right now. And it comes down to this as well, right? Do you believe you can beat these guys? I think David Benavidez believes he can beat these guys. Whether no matter what a fan wants to believe,
Yeah.
he believes it. So if you believe it and the money is there, what are we talking about here? Why cut the weight and go down to 175 and put myself through that for less money when I could be right here and potentially become a lineal champion in 2 weight class divisions, beat Jao Pataya, become a unified lineal champion in the cruiserweight division, maybe even undisputed on the back end of Jao Pataya beating McClellan, right? In a lineal, and then go right up and fight Alexander Usyk and become a lineal unified heavyweight champion of the world, 4 weight class division champion. Yeah, bro, the writing's on the wall. I don't see why I would cut the weight to come back down to 175 to fight Dimitri Bivol.
Yeah, no, it's definitely hard depending on, again, what you're trying to go after. It's definitely, and you're the one that told me that David's always, I didn't recognize it before, but you said David's always been into the jewelry and stuff like that. I just didn't know that. So he likes a certain lifestyle. That's good, man. I support whatever you support. That's fine. But that costs money, like what you're saying, Clay. And I don't know if Dimitri Bivol money is the same as Alexander Usyk money. You know what I mean? The other thing too is Bivol, who, if you watch some of his training right now, man, that guy, wow, I can't wait to see what he looks. He looks good. Damn good, bro. He looks amazing. So
I don't think he's going to be a depleted fighter in front of Dimitri Bivol.
Yes, that's what I was going to go with. Is the way Bivol's looking is he's looking like the WBO is going to make an announcement saying that if Bivol does not fight Caleb Smith after Eifert, they're going to strip him. Right. No more interim. They're just straight stripping his ass. And Caleb Smith will probably fight, honestly, hopefully Ben Whitaker, right? For that fight. But Clay, if Bivol does go, fine. Then Beterbiev's going to have to wait, right? That Russian money's still going to be there. They could still do that. He could still then fight Caleb Smith next after he washes Eifert next week, and then goes to Beterbiev. So that's probably why Samson is also sitting there going, we're not going to wait for Bivol.
Right.
But really, man, like, look, just make a deal with, like, stop messing around. Just make a deal with Turkey already. Go make a deal, whatever that deal is.
Right. There's a fight going on inside the ring, and there's always a fight going on outside the ring, right? And the fight outside the ring is just as important as the inside the ring fight, right? It's chess, not checkers. Look, David, you're the one killing your body, talking about going up and down in weight. Why wouldn't Team Bivol wait you out a little bit, torture you a little bit, let you wait a little bit? This is all part of the game. And David Benavidez and his team are getting smarter and smarter. Like I told you before, David Benavidez is a game fighter. That's what the space is loving about it. He's game, right? As long as the money makes sense and all those things make sense, he's game. He's like, yo, are you crazy? I'll run from nobody. I'm the Mexican monster, bro. The money makes sense. I will fight you in the parking lot. He's that kind of a, you know what I mean? He's ready to throw those fades wherever it's at. I knew on the back end of this fight, after he got the response he got, after he got the offers he got, he would pivot. He has no problem pivoting. He has no problem going from, I thought it was about Bivol. It ain't about Bivol no more. You feel me? Things have changed for me. And even him talking about this 190-pound catch weight idea he had on trying to have both the light heavyweight title and the cruiserweight. No, David, that's not the way it works. You don't win the 175-pound title coming in the ring at 190 pounds. That's not how it works, okay? But I get what you're coming from, David. You don't want to go back down to 175? No, that's what it comes down to. You just got to let that go.
You got a churro in one hand and a tamale in the other, bro.
Yeah, listen, you got to let go, baby. But listen, there's bigger fish. The grass is greener on the other side of the fence. Dimitri Bivol will, and here's the back end part of it, right? Bivol's going to come up the cruiserweight before he leaves. You'll get a chance at him anyway, except in the cruiserweight division. If you do the work you need to do, you'll be the A side. You'll have the leverage. You'll be telling Bivol what to do instead of fighting on Bivol's side of the fence at 175, killing your body to fight Bivol down there. Yeah, right? So he's obviously getting the right advice. He's got good people around him. I've always had faith in David Benavidez to deal with the real-time data. You know what I mean? That's how people are sometimes. Even I am, right? Especially in the fight game. It's like, I'm focused on what I'm focused on right now. So I told you already, my game plan is go to cruiserweight, come back down to light heavyweight, fight Bivol. People wanted him to change his whole entire conversation before. He's like, I'm going to deal with that once I do what I need to do against Zerto. I've done what I need to do against Zerto, and I don't want to cut the weight. I got so many opportunities on this side. I expected David Benavidez to do exactly what he's doing right now, which is like,
yeah, and
part of me anymore.
Yeah, and again, like what you're saying, Clay, is, if we're just going on the marketing side, even Malik Scott was bragging about how, man, I didn't know he was that good because those hands were super fast and blah blah blah. They're already hyping you up, bro. They're already saying you're this destroyer at cruiserweight. So your hand speed is fast. The king of the cruiserweights is Jai. But if you could skip Jai to go get some Usyk money, go get some Usyk money, bro.
Don't skip Jai. Don't skip Jai, David. I mean, listen, the risk is there because if you lose against Jai, why even fight Usyk, right?
Right.
I mean, literally, Jai will that'll be Jai's probably exit plan. Like, I'm undisputed lineal now. He goes and fight Usyk, right? So, but at the end of the day, acclimate. Do it the right way. Fight Jai. Usyk says he has 2 fights left, bro. Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua winner, that's not it. Nobody wants to see that shit. He's fought Tyson Fury twice. His next fight will probably be, one of the champions. You know what I mean? Maybe he fights a G Caballero. I don't know. I think he lets go of the belt, but he says he has 2 more fights after this one. Be the last one. You focus on Jai, fight Jai, win. That's up to you. That's what you got to do. Win, which I believe he thinks he can, and go up there, a lineal, undisputed cruiserweight champion, and make one of the biggest fights this era of boxing have seen, which is between you and Alexander Usyk, undisputed versus undisputed, or lineal versus lineal. The writing's on the wall for something beautiful with Alexander Usyk's last fight out the division. I think Usyk should be very confident in his ability to win that fight because David Benavidez is a smaller guy, legitimately. He's more acclimated. He's not scared of size anyway, pause. He's already done the work against the biggest fighters in the division. I don't think Usyk has no reason. Who would Usyk rather be in the ring with? David Benavidez with all that money on the table, or does he want to fight Fabio Wardley? Does he want to fight Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury? Does he want to fight any, right? So he's probably with it. Usyk's probably with it. So yeah.
Yeah, no. And guys, like, I know some of you guys are like, Benavidez doesn't want to come up in weight. What Clay is trying to say is, and first of all, I promise you guys, if that fight does get made, Benavidez, Jai, Clay already knows I'm Team Jai Apataya all the way, man. What I mean, at the end of the day, I honestly do not believe David Benavidez could beat him. I think that people sleep on Jai because they haven't gotten to see his growth the way they got to see David Benavidez's growth. Versus I have seen the growth, and I know how good the guy is. So, and Jai Apataya, by the way, he doesn't go party, bro. His version of partying is hanging out with his Samoan family. Just hanging out, right? And he's still training. But apparently what's going to happen, Clay, is he's fighting the WBC belt. IBF is going to have to give him back his belt or he gets sued. That means he'll have the Ring Magazine, the WBC, assuming he wins, and the IBF belt. Undisputed, Clay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's undisputed. And I think that's what Turki's interested in, right? So Turki's involved in the conversation as well. And he's been there. I told you guys already. Turki and David, they've been like this. You've seen the little meeting, and Turki and David didn't look like they hadn't seen each other in years, right? Seemed like they were very much in communication. David made it very clear, we are with your program. Please let us know. Turki said, right? And Turki said to him, no, I'm got you. That's why I told you, go be busy. I got you. It's one of these 3. We're just waiting on which one we knock him down. I don't want to hold you up. David's like shaking his hand, right? Like, hey, man, we with it all. Because why?
Right.
We're going to be rich effing with you, bro.
Yeah.
We're going to get even richer. So nobody's delusional about what's going on.
Yeah.
I expect this thing to develop in a way that makes more. With Turki involved, I expect this thing to develop in a way that benefits us as the fans, because that's what Turki's going to do. He's going to deliver us the best fights he can deliver us. And when you got game opponents like David Benavidez in the conversation, there is no ceiling. Anything is possible. And I'm expecting the most impossible possibilities when it comes to this conversation. So whether you guys agree with Usyk and David fighting each other, whether you think he's going to beat out Opataya or not, whatever it is, there's a path, a very competitive, difficult, challenging path, but a path for David Benavidez to become great, to make a lot of money, and I think that's where he's going to go. I don't think he goes back down to 175 to make that fight happen with Bivol. We'll see how that ends up turning out, right?
Can I just throw one more thing for the chat to think about so that we said it, and then if it happens, we can say, remember when we said that back in May? But the proposed fight that's already contractually agreed on Netflix, Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury, is supposed to be in November. TKO Group is supposed to promote that, meaning Dana White's promoting it, right? So why wouldn't Dana White also promote on the same card David Benavidez versus his guy,
Jai
Opetaia? Why not?
You know, Angelo, you know what it is, and I can hear the excitement in your voice, and I'm just as excited. I'm a little bit more patient and poised, and Angelo can't contain himself because we talk about these things so much, guys. Watching it come together is just funny. It's hilarious because trust you me when I tell you, we've talked about all of this outside of the show, right? There's only so much we could do here. This has been written on the wall. Listen, if you guys follow the show, you know we've been telling you guys. And I'm not the guy. And what I mean by that is I'm not the I told you so guy. I really ain't. You know what I mean? I'm really just giving it to you the way it is. Angelo will tell you in a second. He I told you so guy. Don't fuck with him. He gonna come and let you know. It's coming together perfectly because at the end of the day, it's not that difficult, bro. Money moves the sport of boxing. It's prize fighting. Turki Alalshikh brings money. The idea that these other promotional companies were going to stop Turki Alalshikh with propaganda, with talking, convincing fighters to be loyal to, don't go over there, don't be a sellout. Bro, ain't nobody hearing that sellout. I'm selling out. Shakur, I'm selling out. Devin, I'm selling out. David Benavidez, I'm selling. What are you talking about? It's about this money. So as long as that money was involved in there and those big paydays was there, these guys really didn't have too much of a fighting chance. And even DAZN has put all the promoters in their place, and DAZN is letting you know that we will not be turning down being part of the biggest events in boxing. We will not be on the outside looking in on this conversation. This will not happen. You shall not pass. We will all cooperate and we will play and be friendly with each other. Do we understand, Golden Boy? Do we understand, Top Rank? Are we on the same page, Matchroom? Queensberry, you've been doing great in the UK. Are we here or not? Okay, great. Keep on putting on the big fights. Let's get it done. Anybody can get it. The biggest fights only, ladies and gentlemen. And let's have a great 2026 and 2027. Everybody signed their contracts? Everybody good? We got the paperwork in? Awesome. Ayo, Mike, get to work, man. Push the biggest fights, baby. Mike Leon, let's get to work, baby. Let's get to work.
Right. I'm sure he didn't have I'm sure he had a hard weekend with the Virginia one. That was rough, man. That was rough. It is what it is.
That being said, perfect segue. The chemistry's so good, man. We just do our thing, right? Look at how Angelos brought it in. He don't even realize he did. He just can't help himself. He just he can't even help himself. It was only logical that we go into the next topic.
We got a segue into this.
We have to, right? Virginia this weekend. Keyshawn Davis, Nahir Albright, main event. Listen, man, we can talk about the amount of people that were in the building. We can talk about those things, but I'm going to try not to, right? Because I think what's more important is the actual fight itself, right? Clearly, by the way, going into this fight, there was controversy. Keyshawn doesn't make weight the first time on the scales. Keyshawn is doing interviews. He's telling everybody that he didn't even want this fight, right? This was something that Bob Arum, Top Rank, kind of forced him to take care of for whatever reason. Top Rank did. Keyshawn took the fight. He did finally end up making weight on the third try. So he held his title, defended his title. I went into the fight thinking I expected Keyshawn to win the fight, right? I just believe he's just a better boxer than Nahir Albright. But Nahir Albright coming in with a lot of momentum himself, coming off of a very competitive fight where a lot of people thought he won against Frank Martin, beating Kelvin Davis, Keyshawn Davis' younger brother, and then you compound that with the foolery that happened in the backstage area between them. It was like the writing was on the wall, and maybe Bob kind of wanted to address that. Maybe he was giving Nahir Albright an opportunity. We don't know. This could even been part of the business plan, right? Like, don't sue us, don't make a big stink out of it, and we'll make sure if you do the right thing, we give you a big opportunity. We'll bring you back to Virginia and give you an opportunity to show us you're like that. Nahir Albright took the opportunity, right? It is what it is. Going into the fight, I'm interested in your perspective. What were you expecting? What you think was going to happen? And also, did it meet what you thought was going to happen? Is that what you kind of figured to happen, or were you expecting something a little different? Talk to me.
I mean, it's just I'm proud of just fans holding fighters accountable in general now. You thought that Keyshawn Davis with DB3 coming into Virginia would sell out the place and all of that, Clay. It didn't do any of that. It, if anything, maybe it helped humble them a little bit. Like, hey man, in this economy when gas prices are rising, like y'all might want to, do more for the fans, do more, be more, and do more for the fans, so that they will continue to support you. Not here, Albright, bro. I mean, look, I hate sounding like this because we like Keyshawn. Keyshawn is a hell of a talent, right? Silver medalist, but how you not gonna just did he pitch a perfect game, Clay? Yes, he did. Right? He pitched the perfect game. Good for you, Keyshawn. There's still gonna be the elephant in the room for some of us, which is now here Albright's a full-time nurse and a part-time boxer, bro. And these are the people you're supposed to put away. You didn't put them away. So you go into distance with him. You go into distance with him the same way Frank Martin went to distance with him, bro. Like, so that's your level of greatness, I guess. And here's the worst part of it. They're doing the interview, okay? Because some of the pundits in the space is already killing Keyshawn for this. Mm-hmm. He's doing this interview and he's like, I don't know, man. I don't even know if I want to make 140 now. Maybe I'll move up to 147. I'm gonna talk to my team. Mm-hmm. Here's an idea, Keyshawn. Get a nutritionist in your team. There's some good ones out there, bro. Shit, you're at the PI. Use their nutritionist. Because I bet if you did, you'd get back down to 135 and whoop on some people. But it's just, I don't know, man. It could be what Stephen A. Smith says. Clay, get off the weed.
Listen, man. First of all, I got to push back on the triangle theory here. You hear all Frank Martin. If Keyshawn Davis didn't do anything in that fight, he showed that he is levels above Frank Martin. Frank Martin, somebody who I think is suffering from the PBC agenda, right? Which is activity. This man is losing every day he's not in the ring. He doesn't need to be in the ring 5 times a year, but Frank Martin needs to be in the ring 3 to 4 times a year, bro. He has to build himself up. He has a new team. He's not working with Derrick James anymore. Him and his team need activity with each other. They've had 2 fights together, him and Buddy McGirt. You know what I mean? And the second one against Nahir Albright, he ended up getting caught with something just the same way Keyshawn got caught with something in his first fight. And even in this fight, he got caught with a big right hand by Nahir Albright. But that's the difference between Keyshawn and Frank, right? Keyshawn can weather that storm. He gets hit, he gets hurt, but he knows the experience shows up. He knows how to tie up the opponent. He knows how to get over it and then even take over the rest of the round. Frank Martin never was able to recover from the shot he took from Nahir Albright. So Frank Martin needs activity. So I'm going to push back at the idea that, this guy just went, no, we're not going to use a triangle theory here. Now, also, certain fighters, Angelo, don't need the competition to be that high. They operate consistently up to where they're supposed to be at, right? Which is what we were talking about earlier with Alexander Usyk, right? Like, he's not going to fight down to Verhoeven. He's not going to sleep on Rico Verhoeven. He's going to force Rico Verhoeven to compete at the highest level he's ever competed at before. And if he's not supposed to be there with him, he's going to get exposed. There's no, right? He's not Teofimo, who fights down to his competition. He's not Jerome Boots Ennis, who has historically fought down to his competition. He's not, he's not Keyshawn Davis, who, fought down to his competition, who needs to be motivated, who needs to wake up and feel excited about the fight. No, I have a job to do. You put that guy in the ring with me, I'm going to train for the best version of that guy that ever showed up, and he's going to have to compete with me at the highest level. So Frank needs to get in there and kind of figure it out. The Keyshawn Davis fight when you hear Albright, for me personally, I don't have any issues with the way the fight went. I do feel like Keyshawn could have stopped Nahir Albright. I believe he could have hit the gas a little bit more, and I think he could have gotten him out of there. But he didn't. But I don't hold that against Keyshawn as much because I thought he almost wanted to not. He didn't put the effort into the fight because he wasn't motivated for the fight. But he did show you that at the end of the day, I can be defensively responsible. I can be patient. I can be poised. I can work behind a jab. And I have no problem taking a decision, especially if you're not giving me what I want. And that's another part of the conversation because I think Top Rank and Keyshawn Davis may be on different wavelengths right now, a little bit. Right? It seems like there's a little bit of, I don't know what's going on when the doors are closing there, but I'm not saying there's domestic violence going on in there, but there's some arguing going on in that house. Right? Maybe it hasn't gotten physical yet, but everything is in his rosies, it seems, on the surface level. So we got to watch how that unfolds and rolls out and how Keyshawn deals with that. And I agree with you, by the way, on the nutritionist thing, because he's talking about going to 147 potentially, right? Because he doesn't want to do the weight cutting thing. Keyshawn, you came in at 140.2. Stop it, bro. You just need to be a little more disciplined. When I hear fighters talking about weight cuts like that, not wanting to do it, to me, it sounds like you don't want to be disciplined anymore. I remember when there were rumors circulating about Errol Spence coming back at 160 because he didn't want to cut the weight to be at 154. And I said to myself, that's him being lazy. Don't even come back. If you're just coming back for a check and you don't want to, that's part of what you signed up for, right? So Keyshawn, get the nutritionist, compete at 140, fight the champions down there, make those fights happen unless somebody calls you up and gives you an opportunity. Devin Haney gives you an opportunity. I expect you to take it, especially if there's a big payday attached to that, which I would have to assume there is. But outside of that, Keyshawn, wipe your tears, blow your nose, get the snot out your nose, bro. Wham, wham, wham. You're a great fighter, bro. I'm not hearing none of that. You get the nutritionist, you get on point, and you compete at the highest level, brother. You're 15 professional fights into your career, family. You got work to do because that's the way it works, okay? When you jump in the ring with a Devin Haney, you're fighting against somebody who's 30-plus fights into his professional career. Double the fights. If you get that opportunity, take it. But where he is right now, I don't want to see him pricing himself out of his legacy the way I saw Teofimo do it. Just constantly pricing himself out. I wish Teofimo would have took the Subriel Matias fight. I wish he would have fought Gary Antoine Russell, right? I wish he would have fought Arnold Barbosa on time. I wish he would have had a career and had more fights by the time he got in the ring with Shakur Stevenson, because he wasted so much time pricing himself out, not fighting people in his own division, shooting for a Terrence Crawford, shooting for a Jerron Boots Ennis. All that time passed by, and you end up gunning up in front of Shakur Stevenson and got outclassed when everybody who knew you and saw the way you moved in your career felt like you should have done better. And you know why that happened? Because you weren't active. You priced yourself out of the most golden years of your career. While Shakur was out there working on his craft, sharpening the tools, you were out there doing antics, overdoing it on the outside of the ring and not doing enough inside the ring. So I want to see Keyshawn take that into consideration. His team take that into consideration. The brothers didn't look that good either. Keon, 5 fights into his professional career. Not that I'm giving him a pass, but I am giving him a pass because he's working it out. I still think that he has a lot in front of him. Kelvin, I'm not gonna lie, bro.
Kelvin needs to get a nutritionist too, bro, and go down and weight.
I don't know. Kelvin, man.
Or maybe he could be the promotional manager for the DB3. I don't know, bro. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. He does not look good, bro.
That's what I'm gonna say, right? I'm not gonna go further than that. I'm just gonna let you know, not a good look Saturday night. Arguably, there's an argument
coming off a loss too. Coming off a loss,
right? Against a Pete Dobson, who's a full-time fitness trainer,
right?
Okay, he's not. I'm just saying, there's an argument there. I wouldn't be mad if somebody wanted to make an argument as to how they thought Pete Dobson won that fight. I didn't have him winning. I had it as a draw, but there's an argument there to be made that Pete won the fight. So Kelvin. You got work to do. You know what I'm saying? You got work to do. Hope he figures that out. Brian Norman Jr.
The one saving grace.
Guys, I didn't rate Josh Wagner that way, right? Biz put it in the air that this could be a spoiler. I don't know. I didn't see it, but
the only thing that was spoiled was Clay's appetite.
Listen, I went into this fight looking for the adjustments. I wanted to see what Ronnie Shields and Brian Norman Jr. were going to bring to the table as a team. I wanted to see how that dynamic was going to work. I was very optimistic about the dynamic because I thought Ronnie Shields' style of training fits Brian Norman Jr., right? But I wanted to see that. I didn't expect anything. I think I said before the fight, it's not about Brian Norman Jr. winning the fight. It was going to be about how he won the fight because I knew he was going to win the fight. Believe it or not, super impressed. I think the message was received. I think the dynamic is golden. Brian Norman Jr. sitting behind that jab, putting his shots together, not smothering his work, just a masterclass performance, beating that guy into submission, bro. I was impressed with Brian Norman Jr. What'd you think about that fight?
Yeah, no, I thought, I mean, again, other than the Josh Wagner, I tore my shoulder, which, hey, man, look, he could have torn his shoulder, Clay. It could have happened, all right?
I'm with Brian Norman Jr. Go ahead. I'm co-signing Brian Norman Jr.
We knew he was going to get stopped either way anyway, so... but Brian Norman looked really good. I like the Ronnie Shields. I found it interesting just the way that whole team was made up. He was using the jab, which was great to see, right? But I'm gonna keep it real, man. Like, is one training camp with Ronnie Shields enough for us to say Brian Norman is all the way back, or do we need to see Brian Norman? Because they're gonna start saying shit like, Brian Norman should fight Rohan Polanco, let's say, right? Bro, you might want to stay away from Rohan Polanco right now because I'm not sure yet. Because the last thing you want to do is let rank number 6 beat you and you're ranked number 2 at Ring Magazine. Like, you know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say? Like,
I'm with you, right? But there's a part of me that says, are you him or are you not him? And I'm asking Brian Norman Jr. that, right? I'm asking Ronnie Shields, do you believe in what you guys have been putting together? Because at the end of the day, sometimes in life, it's barbecue or mildew time. It's shit or get off the pot time. You might need to fight Rohan Polanco. You might, listen, weigh out the options accordingly. You're in a great position right now. He's number 2 in the welterweight division. He's offering anybody in the top 3 a lineal title, right? He's offering Ryan Garcia a lineal title. Well, I don't know. No, maybe not Ryan Garcia, but he's offering Devin Haney a lineal title. He's offering those guys. There's a prize that comes with Brian Norman right now because of the position he's in. So he can leverage that. How does Top Rank feel about Brian Norman Jr.? But you can't shy away. And he doesn't seem like the guy who would shy away. I would say you need to fight the better fighters because you need to be developed. You need to develop. And Rohan Polanco, I think that's a good fight for him. You know what I mean? I think it's a fight that's kind of overdue a little bit, low key. You know what I mean? I think Rohan's always been in a conversation of fighting Brian Norman Jr., but without, to your take, dangerous. High risk, and somewhat low reward, but somewhat high reward too, because if you beat Rohan Polanco, I think you shake up the space. Am I bugging? If he knocks out Rohan Polanco or beats him, the space is going to be like, damn!
For me, as a, hardcore fans, of course we want to see best versus the best. That's why we support Zuffa. We want to see, I heard the some of these takes. Oh, they're getting prospects killed. Like, man, that's another subject for another day.
Was that Dan Rafael had like something about that, right? That you sent me something. Dan Rafael was pretty much saying that.
Yeah,
right?
Well, it's because I don't even think Dan. I need to see the whole interview because they just took a clip and he might have been saying it within context, like maybe agreeing with what Steve Kim said or something. I need to see the whole thing. But no, that shit ain't happening.
Just to add to it real quick and give it right back to you and say that there is an art in developing fighters. You don't want to you want to evenly match make. I think there's a difference between that conversation and the cherry pick thing, right? Like putting a fighter in the ring with somebody he's clearly going to beat. I don't know how much that develops a fighter. You know what I mean? I think that's just more of you developing brand. Maybe you're developing a brand with the fans. Maybe you're delivering something to the fans to get them excited. But how much is that benefiting the fighter as far as in his development? I don't know. I'm gonna give it right back to you. I don't want to be long-winded, but that's what I was gonna say.
And that's again, we can do a whole breathe the ring on this if people want. But honestly, guys, look, I was at Zuffa 6, 4 underdogs. 3 of them were over plus 500. Those guys won. So I don't know what to tell you. Maybe the A-side guy wasn't as good as you thought, right? Like, it's the matchmaking. Ryan Scalia's doing a hell of a job matchmaking at Zuffa, and I commend him because as a fan, I'm watching that shit saying to myself, man, maybe I should pick more of these underdogs. Maybe I should have listened to Jaleel Hackett, who told me to bet on Alexis Alvarado. You know what I mean, right? So I don't know. All I know is I bet on Sugar Shane Mosley, so thank God I won some money back. But nah, Clay. But not to get too long-winded with that, going back to Brian Norman. Brian Norman's coming off of a devastating loss in Riyadh in the biggest payday of his career to Devin Haney. They bump him to number 2, right? He now gets his first, like, Ronnie Shields, let me get a softie, let me get a developmental fight, quote unquote, in Josh Wagner, in where Claymore is so sick that he's like, never say, I never want to see.
Don't
Josh
bring
Wagner
that guy
again,
in front of me again, bro. Ever. You hear me, the zone? I'm drawing a line in the sand. I'm not the guy who's hating on fighters, but no, never again. My bad. Go ahead, bro. Never again.
No, but that's me. See how he was so angry about it because he expected more. He wanted to see more. Now, my point is, okay, well, if that's what we saw as the soft touch, let's just say Brad Goodman, maybe, bro, don't put him in with Polanco because you already know how good Polanco is. Maybe set him up with, I don't know, Curiel, Alexis Rocha. You know what I mean?
All those guys are good too. All those guys are good too. What I'm saying is, if Polanco's on the table, you do what you do. You know what I mean? No more. I don't want to say ducking. That's so great. I don't. Apologies. Yeah. I'll retract that because no way in hell am I saying Brian Norman Jr. is ducking anybody. I know that's not the case. Okay, but I'm saying no more. Look, 147 is kind of stagnant, but shouldn't be because there's talent there. The fights are there, but all this strategic moving around, and there's a certain point to where it becomes kind of like, why are we doing this? Make the fights, okay? Rohan Polanco's been in the background, not getting his opportunity because he's dangerous. You hear Brad Goodman talking about this dude supposed to be at 154. Man, the man's making the weight at 147. He don't want to go to 154. He's not depleted. He hasn't taken a loss down there. Give that man an opportunity to show and prove that he can be a big star because he can probably do it, but he needs an opportunity. Right now, Brian Norman Jr. is in a position to where he can give him the opportunity, and low key, he can use the opportunity because he just beat up Josh Wagner, who's a nobody, but we're here celebrating it because we saw the adjustments. That's awesome. We're letting it go. We're not holding it against him and saying, we're not holding Josh Wagner against him. But if you continue and we keep seeing you it's going to get weird out here. So, if Rohan Polanco's next,
I remember the names that I did give is still in the ring top 10. So I didn't say fight another Josh Wagner. I understand. I said don't fight the number 6 guy. Maybe fight the number 9 guy. Like don't do that.
Or jump into a title shot. I'll be honest with you. Jump into a title shot. Fight
Romero.
Fight one of those. Yeah, fight Rolly. Get a title. But if you're not going to fight those guys, fight a guy. Don't just fight. You know what I'm trying to say? Fight a guy. Fight somebody. If it's not, it don't gotta be Rohan, but listen, I'm here for the Rohan fight. As a fan, I see it. Fireworks. But hey, there's an art to this. But don't get beside yourself and give us anything near a Josh Wagner again. Be clear. We're gonna see it if you do it. We're not done. If you pick up somebody who's not, we're going to let you know. So, hey, we're waiting on you. No problem. You know what I'm saying? We're waiting on you.
No, I agree. I 100% agree with Clay. It has to be somebody who's ranked close to that top 10 Ring magazine or like Clay said, pick somebody.
We're watching, right? So we know the difference is what we're saying, right? We know the difference. So you go ahead and do what you do. We're watching. We know the difference. So if it's an Alexis Rocha or if it's a Raul Correa, you ain't going to hear us cry. You feel me? If you pull up I'm telling you, we're going to see it. It's like we're looking at you. So, hey, bro, I don't mind Rohan Polanco, by the way, for the record. I'm with it. But I get it. You're right. What you're saying. It's a risk. But don't get too far below Rohan. Don't go too far.
Right.
You know what
Can
I
we
mean?
give a little love, by the way, to I thought Chacon Cruz got robbed so bad, bro. I don't know how
100%.
you and I
That
got
was
that
the
robbed.
robbery. That was the
Oh my
robbery.
god.
I mean,
Oh,
the close second behind that would have been the Kelvin Davis, Pete Dobson fight, just based on
okay.
the cards, which were
Right.
ridiculous. 99
Right.
to 91, 90. It was just all over the place. I don't know what they were looking
Weird.
at.
Right.
Um,
Weird.
but yeah, that fight right there was
Oof.
that was some home, what they call home cooking.
Oh
Right. That
my
was some
god.
home cooking there. Yan Santana got gifted his opportunity for whatever reason. I don't know if they're trying to put him in some other conversations. He's got that WBO version of whatever that belt is. Does that put him in front of a Rafael Espinoza? Does that put him in an? I don't know what the conversation is about. What was 120? I don't know. But yeah, that was a horrible decision. Horrible.
Yeah. No, I don't know what y'all are doing with Jan Santana, but you better keep Shushu's name out your mouth. Boy.
That was crazy. The whole building booed him out the building. Like they were like, they booed him so bad, bro. It was just like, yeah, that was just ridiculous. That was one of the bad ones of this year, man. That was one of the horrible ones of the year, bro. It is what it is, right? It is what it is. What do you think about Keyshawn Davis maybe fighting a Brian Norman Jr.? How about that? If they stepped up Keyshawn talking about 147 talking about not cutting the weight. Devin Haney puts a threat out there, which we'll talk about as well. Not the threat, sorry. What am I talking about? But he did say he's interested in, because we're going to talk about that as well. But first, what do you think about a Keyshawn Davis, Brian Norman Jr. fight? You think that's too soon for Keyshawn, or do you think that's too dangerous for Brian Norman, like the Polanco situation?
I mean, I think as a fan, all of us would love to see that, because the one thing that you can't take away from Keyshawn, no matter how much you want to hate on him, is he is talented as hell, man. That guy is so talented, and we expect greatness from him. So how great would it be for Keyshawn to go up to 147 and beat the number 2 guy, right? Now that makes the Haney fight even bigger. And then if you asked me, could he? Why couldn't he, Clay? I mean, he looks pretty good, right? That I question if he can take that type of power, but I question that about Devin Haney, and look what Devin Haney did to Brian Norman. So I'd love to see it. Will we ever see it? Hell no, bro. Come on. You know Brad Goodman. You interviewed Brad Goodman. You know for a damn fact.
I'm just asking you on paper, what do you think, right? On paper, what do you think about it? You know what I mean? But that being said, though, and I'm with that fight, but let's talk about the real protein on the plate, which is Devin Haney responding in a tweet to the performance, and all of a sudden, Devin Haney's back into the Keyshawn Davis business.
Yep.
Big Debo wants to come out for Keyshawn Davis. What do you think is fueling it? It wasn't there before for some reason. This is the first time, by the way, Devin has talked about it, because before it was Bill. See, I pay attention to these things, right? Bill entertained the fight with Keyshawn. Devin never said anything about the fight. He didn't care one way or the other, right? Matter of fact, Devin said whatever my dad said, right? He's always been clear about that. But every now and then, Devin does speak up for what he wants. Every now and then, Devin will go on a tweet and he'll say something, and it's not to be taken lightly, because he's not a guy who talks that easily about the fights he wants next, right? He brings up Keyshawn. He says Keyshawn Davis, Big Debo looking for Keyshawn Davis. Keyshawn says he wants to fight. That's what he said in the ring. Right. I would say this fight is a fight that could be made. It's a fight that's there to be made, right?
100%.
The promoters got to get out the way and do what they got to do. But these two guys, in my opinion, are two gamed opponents who will and would fight each other. What do you think about that fight? And also, I want your opinion. Why all of a sudden did Devin pick up on that fight that didn't have a big crowd, right? I just want to be clear, right? Didn't have a big crowd. Keyshawn didn't just shake up the world like Shakur did against Teofimo. It was a failure of an event, one might say, off of a lackluster performance, some might say. Why would Devin be interested in that fight all of a sudden? I'm interested in your opinion on that.
Well, again, we can only give so much to the chat, but I'll let everybody who is a part of the replay gang and everybody on the chat just think about this when you're sipping your coffee at home. All right.
Talk to him,
Ryan Scalia, man, he can only do a job with over 100 people on the roster at Zuffa. And I'm not gonna lie, man, some of these fools be scared of certain other fools. I don't want to name names, but they just are. And here's Devin Haney. They're waiting for a big announcement. And I told you that if the Conor Ryan wasn't gonna work out, Devin's gonna swoop right in for something nice, right? There's gonna be, but it looks like Ryan versus Conor is gonna happen. So who's Devin gonna fight, right? It's not gonna be Richardson Hitchens because he's got his own thing. It's not gonna be Tio when Tio makes that announcement. It's not gonna be. He's gonna have his own thing. So who could Devin fight? Well, who is a Ring Magazine ambassador? Clay? Who's a Ring Magazine ambassador?
Is it Keyshawn?
Is it Keyshawn?
I don't know. I gotta look it up. Don't quote me on it. Go ahead.
So Turki, who's in charge of that, and again, for you guys who don't pay attention, Keyshawn trains at the UFC PI, man. So he's not. Is he a top ranked guy? Is he not a 10th ranked guy? You know what I mean?
There's
so
arguing going on in that house.
Yeah, and I'm sure top rank's not going to be stupid enough to not let Keyshawn get a bag on a Ring Magazine card promoted by Zuffa Boxing, but on a Ring Magazine card, I'm sure.
Angelo, big fights only. Big fights only. That's what it's on. Big fights, baby. We're not getting in the way of no more big fights. Go ahead.
Right. So Devin Haney costs a certain amount. And in order for him to make up that money, Devin Haney is also smart enough to know who in this list of people that cost X amount would be food for me. And he believes Keyshawn's food for him. And I'm going to be honest with you, bro.
Are we talking about timing and strategy here?
I'm just telling you, man. Look,
I don't want to start sounding like Regis Prograis at the right time. The same guy who was looking for Jerron Boots Ennis at the right time at 147 when he was leaving. Is Team Haney not one of the most strategic teams in the game, in the sport? And I'm not holding this against them to say like they're cherry picking. They're not, but this is the part. This is the part of the fight game, right, Angelo? There's an outside of the ring fight and the inside of the ring fight. And the outside of the ring fight is this guy is game, but he's at 140. Right. He hasn't been to 147 yet, and he's only 15 fights into his professional career. And if you foresee, what we foresee is that he's going to be in the future one of the biggest faces of boxing. Why not get him now? Let's get him out the way right now. We have the advantage. We've acclimated to the division. We the A side. Let's make it happen.
Well, here's the thing, right? And when you look at how Zuffa sees everything, because they look at it from the investment point of view, to them, it's a 50-50 fight to let Keyshawn and Devin fight, right? Because let's say Keyshawn wins. Hey, good for you. You're still a part of Turkey. You're still a Ring Magazine ambassador. It's not like we're not going to promote you. I mean, hell, we're promoting Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury. So you're all good, Keyshawn. And then when you're finally all said and done with Top Rank, you can do what you've been wanting to do, which is to sign with Zuffa. But for now, we'll deal with that weird contract you got. For Devin, though, I want you to think about the storyline, because it's all about the storyline. So Devin beats Keyshawn, the little brother of Shakur. Devin even says, hey, I understand why Shakur don't want to fight me, because look what I did to his guy. And his guy's bigger than him. Imagine what I would do to Shakur. So I understand, bro. You don't got to ever worry about me, man. I got it. I already showed everybody what I would do to you by doing it to your little brother. So, it's all good, baby. Nobody wants to fight Debo Haney. I got it. I'm moving on.
I love it, man. Yeah, man. I see all of it, man. I see all the possibilities, Andrew. I'm right here with you, bro. Like, it makes sense. Bottom line. It just makes sense. So let's see what ends up coming up on the back end of that. Listen, man, maybe Keyshawn needs a Devin Haney. Not only listen, and that's another thing. This might not play out the way Devin thinks it'll play out, right? It's Keyshawn is a fighter who's shown a lot of promise, but without a doubt, the experience factor is on Devin Haney's side. He brings that to the table. This is the time to get a fighter like Keyshawn Davis. He's just going to get better. He's going to become more of a nightmare as long as he stays disciplined. And I've been one person who's always celebrated Keyshawn Davis's ability to separate his outside the ring activities with the inside the ring. In other words, once he makes it into the ring, he's always on point. He's always on point. Sometimes what he does outside gets in the way of him getting into the ring. You know what I'm saying? But once he gets into the ring, he seems to be dialed in. He's one of those guys. So he's game. I think it's not 50-50, but I don't think it's 70-30. I think this fight is I say a 57, 40, 57. What's the change? 43. How about that? 57, 43. Devin's way to win this fight, but it could change in the coming weeks depending on how much time. But I'll tell you this: every fight that passes by that he doesn't fight Keyshawn, that number changes. It returns from 57-43 to a 55-45. You let a couple more fights go by before you know it, this fight can turn into a 50-50 fight. Matter of fact, you let it go too long and you let Keyshawn get his experience at 140 and going to 147 naturally, and you're set at 147, I can see people favoring Keyshawn to beat Devin. You fuck around.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Can I just do the pushback and just say that based on what Devo's at least allowing the public to see, damn, he looks good right now, bro, in training.
Facts.
And he's really like big, pause, but he's very big, right? And I think Devo, man, is gonna hurt a lot of people with the Zuffa thing. I think that there's gonna be a lot of people all of a sudden like, damn, I didn't know Devin could hit like that, right? So I don't know, man. I think sooner
I'm right there with you. I'm
Devin,
right there with you.
Yeah, I think that if they fight now, there's even a possibility that Devin could be a superstar by possibly stopping someone like Keyshawn.
Yeah.
Right. So it's up to Keyshawn. But Keyshawn, like you said, he's so talented that he's not scared of anyone, bro. He's not scared of these people. He's like, whatever. I'll fight whoever.
He's a motivated, excited, mouth salivating Keyshawn Davis is a problem for anybody, bro.
Right.
You get Keyshawn where he's like, yeah, that's what I wanted. Remember Eddie Murphy Raw when the Italian hit the dude? Yeah, and he looked at him like, yeah, that's what I wanted. That kind of Keyshawn Davis, bro, is a danger for anybody. But the experience isn't there, so it's a wild card, right? It's like he can get shown up. It's kind of like the Moses Atama conversation right now, which we'll also talk about.
Here we go. I'm glad you're transitioning to it because I was going to say.
We got topics to talk about. I'm trying to tell you, we got topics to talk about. Matter of fact, hold on one second here. I think Ray Davis is in the building, bro. Let me
he's pulling up.
Ray, I think Ray pulled up.
I've been here. I've been listening to this garbage y'all talking and spewing over here. Andrew, I actually.
You guys got Aaron Rodgers?
Oh yeah. That's cool. Listen, I'm not a fan of Aaron Rodgers, never was, but hey, it is what it is. I just want to say this. I disagree with all that shit. But anyway, it's okay. I respect Keyshawn enough to say that I do think I do give him a chance. You know what I mean? He throws a lot of combinations. He has Chris clean shot. So, I mean, it's a boxing match. Anything can happen. I just don't see him beating Devin. I have nothing against Keyshawn in that sense of me not just disliking his personality. Has nothing to do with his boxing skills. His competition, and I'm going to use the boots inference, right? It's not that it's that Keyshawn can beat Devin or can't beat Devin. Keyshawn hasn't fought anybody on that level. I think we said the same thing about Brian Norman, right? He hasn't fought that level yet. He hasn't stepped across that threshold to walk into that door to get to that level. Mm-hmm. And Clay, just to correct you, this is not the first time Devin called out Keyshawn. He actually told him, I'm going to take care of little brother, then I'm going to go after big brother, because when Keyshawn first started talking. So that's not the first time. As far as them getting it in, I don't know. The first time it was held up, Keyshawn admitted it, and I was going to say that the last time that Top Rank was the people that said, no, we're not giving you that fight. They didn't want to get that fight. Now, I don't know for what reason, but they pushed the fight for Nair Albright as opposed to the Devin Haney fight. Bill did state that, and it seemed to be standing correct when you heard Keyshawn say that in the ring. Said, this is the fight they wanted for me. So, regardless of what we're talking about, man, Devin, I respect the 57, 30, 43, but I'm definitely going 60, 40, if not more like 63, 37. I just think the experience is going to play a big part, championship experience. And I don't mean like he hasn't had a belt. I mean rounds and, you know what I mean? And all, it's just too much, bro. I'm just going to land my plane, bro. But how you guys doing today? Salute.
Hey, feeling good, Ray. Feeling good. I'm going to let Clay respond, but I do want to real quick shout out So on the chat, sorry for missing you, Coach Bernard Hackett's on the chat. Nice to see you. Coach Hector Bermudez is on the chat.
Yeah,
nice
I got
to see you.
Coach Hector Bermudez gave a super chat. Appreciate. Thanks for the love, Coach.
And bring Rohan along too. No disrespect to you, Coach Bermudez. Listen, Debo ready, bro. Listen. He just a Dominican Devin, bro. That's all. And he just move a little faster.
No doubt.
Move a little bit more defensive. I'm sorry. That's all. We good. He punch harder, maybe. We don't know that yet. Because Devin at 47 where he belongs. So we'll find out. It'll happen.
All right. So Coach Hector Bermudez, shout out to Coach Hector Bermudez, the trainer of Rohan Polanco in the building always. If you know, you know, right? Everybody in this chat, I'm sure, knows who Coach Hector Bermudez is. So he's got a super chat he put in there. Thank you for the love. Says Rohan haven't fought nobody because the people making decisions know exactly what he is. A problem. Yeah, you know, I agree with you. But, you know, just from talking to Brad Goodman that little bit of time, what I think I see in Brad Goodman is he clearly doesn't want Rohan Polanco at 147. And I think there is a threat factor there at 147 that Rohan Polanco brings to the table, but I think he's also factoring in the star quality, and he hasn't. It seems like Top Rank has a plan for 147 that doesn't involve Rohan Polanco. So he's trying to convince him to go up to 154, which I think would be a disservice around Rohan Polanco. I think he could compete up there, but I just think at 147, he definitely is one of those guys. Yeah, without a doubt, that's a weird situation for you, Coach, as far as how you guys are handling Rohan Polanco. I don't know. There's parts of me that want to say the cookie cutter response over here at this channel that we've said a couple of times already.
I'll say it, Clay. I'll say it.
Yeah, he probably needs to go to Zuffa.
I'll say it. Coach,
I
man, I know you keep talking about how Rohan's being taken care of, and I'm sure he is. But whenever that contract is over, man, I'm telling you, 147 would be perfect for Rohan Polanco to come into that.
Yeah, it seems like he could really flourish over there. And maybe when he's ready to come back to 154, maybe he does like a quick 3 to 5 fight deal over there. And then at the end of that, maybe that'll be what he needs to catapult him back over into the traditional side at 154 and get him what he needs. But I don't know, man.
Well, let me say this too, Coach. Hey, Coach, why don't you come to the Zuffa event on June 28th? Support your guy, Edwin De Los Santos, right? And, just check out how things are done. Just check it out for yourself. And maybe things can happen for a good old Rohan over here on this side of the world.
Yeah, for sure.
And one more shout out, Clay. So I saw Mrs. Van Houter and Mr. Van Houter. So I want to say happy birthday to Mr. Van Houter. I hope you're having I can't believe you're even listening to our show today on your birthday. But thank you for listening to us. Happy birthday to you, sir. Hopefully the entire Van Houter family is having a nice family time with you on your birthday.
No doubt. It is what it is, guys. So we are going to continue to move the needle, man. As far as that Keyshawn Davis Devin Haney fight, hey, man, I'm leaning towards Devin Haney to win the fight, but I want to see the fight. I don't care about calling the fight. I want to call the fight. You heard? And I don't want to call the fight before the fight happens. I want to call the fight while it's happening. So let's make it happen. Let's make it happen so we can see Devin be active. Let's see Keyshawn Davis motivated. I think that's a formula for a fight of the year candidate when you have two fighters like that, right? And another thing about that fight that's important to me is I think Keyshawn can force Devin to fight more. Devin, like I told you, is somebody who will coast. He'll take his victory. If you give it to him, he will take it. He's not going to do more. I think Keyshawn can force Devin to do more. And I think that gives an opportunity for Devin to build that fan base up the right way to a degree, right? Because he showed glimpse of that in the Brian Norman fight. We got real excited watching him put Brian Norman down, but once again, Brian Norman wasn't able to force him to continue to fight differently, so he coasted and got his victory. A dominating win regardless, but people want to see more out of Devin Haney, and I think the only way we see that is in the competition, stepping up the competition level, forcing him to show improve. That being said, guys, let's move over to the heavyweight division. Okay, announcement made. Fabio Wardley activates the rematch against Daniel Dubois. He wants to get back in there with Daniel Dubois. It is what it is, right? I'm not shocked that Fabio Wardley would do that. I do continue to question the people around him.
Yep.
Do you guys care about Fabio Wardley or not? Is he a stepping? I'm sorry, okay? The man got abused at the highest level. You didn't pull him out. You let him go all the way until the 11th round, bro. when he probably should have been pulled out in round 8, 9, the latest. A lot of abuse. And now there's an argument out there, I think, to be made, no matter how much of a supporter of Fabio Wardley you are and how much you believe in him. Should he be diving right back into the ring with this monster again? Shouldn't he get a tune-up fight? Shouldn't he develop? Talk to me. I don't know.
Let me go for it. Let me go first. So what I'll say is, in a contract like that, you do have to activate it anyways, because the first thing that Fabio Wardley is going to have to clear is the medical part, right? There's going to be a certain allotted period of time that he's going to be suspended. And then there's the next part of it. So the automatic rematch clause kind of makes sure that he gets money, Clay. Mm-hmm. And even if he doesn't fight Daniel Dubois again next,
payoff.
Yes, it's the step aside, right? So, well, we're going to need you to step aside so that Daniel Dubois can fight Moses. So then he gets paid. Wow. So you see what I'm trying to say? So when we're saying, do you guys even care about Wardley? I think they do. I think they do care.
I hope Wardley. They do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm just saying, because I think that if he doesn't say, hey, he has to fight me next, then there's no contractual reason as to why Daniel Dubois couldn't move on. But by saying, hey, I'm activating it, you have to fight me next before you do anything else. Now, if Dubois gets a nice offer, they got to go, bro, come on. Here's $500,000. You know, whatever this
whatever, even if it's 200,000,
right?
Yeah, it's business. I agree. I never thought of it that way. I like the take, bro. I love the take, man.
I know this stuff, Clay.
Right. No, I love the take, man, because at the end of the day, it's true. If I activate the mandatory, then you got to do business with me to move forward and make other fights. If you want to make another fight, a bigger fight, an opportunity, it's either fight me or take the bigger opportunity. But if you take the bigger opportunity, give me mines. Give me mines so that I can sit and chill. Maybe it's chess, not checkers. Unless Daniel Dubois takes the fight. Then.
Well, I mean, let's be honest, though, Clay.
If Daniel takes a fight, it's going to look like abuse.
Okay. You got to start asking yourself that question. Why would Daniel take less money to wait longer? Really, it's all about when Daniel clears his medicals, there are fights for Daniel to have. He could fight Murat Gasayev for the WBA as a unification. He could fight the winner of Richard Torres versus Frank Sanchez this Saturday for the vacant IBF when they vacate, when they strip Usyk, right?
I agree.
He could be August 8th. Moses Itama, although what I'm hearing, and
I'm hearing something else. We'll talk about that in a minute. Don't say it. We're going. We're going to
this, right? We're going to hear the whole Philip Hergovich.
I know.
Blah, blah, blah. But hold on. The only thing I want to throw out is I want to make sure that it gets across the dotted line, because the way Philip Hergovich talked after that fight.
I know.
Okay, keep in mind, Keith Connolly is his manager. Keith Connolly works closely with Zuffa. Zuffa is investing a lot of money into the heavyweight division. So I'm just saying, bro, like whatever, if he does take the Moses Itama fight, believe me when I say that Philip Hergovich is getting A-side money for that. He is getting a lot of money.
He's also getting knocked out. But that being said, there's already a contract there. It was a 2 or 3 fight deal with Queensberry, and in that contract was Moses Itama. That's what Frank Warren said. That's what Philip Hergovich said. Frank Warren is, matter of fact, the fact that Keith Connolly's involved in it probably is why Philip Hergovich is about to get his ass served up to Moses Itama, because, I know what you plan to do already. I'm gonna let my young bull put you in a blender, and I'm gonna send you over there a has-been. But with that being said, we're gonna talk about that in a minute. Actually, you know what I'm saying? I want to give Ray a chance to tap into this as well. But I love the take on the money, and yeah, I do think that's what would end up happening, right? I can see Daniel Dubois jumping into these other opportunities. But once again, if Daniel did take that rematch, for me, that'd be a blow up in Fabio Wardley and his team's face.
It'd be worse.
I think that would not be a good idea, but I agree with you also that more than likely those other opportunities would shine up better. Because also I don't know if Daniel Daniel got punched on a little bit in that fight too as well. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? That was a war. At the end of the day, it was a war. But I love it. I never thought of it that way. I let it take. Ray, go ahead, man. What do you think?
Absolutely.
About
I love everything Angelo said, but there's a speed bump in the way. Moses Atama. Why not with all having the same damn promoter? Why wouldn't he try to double down, triple down, quadruple down on this bag? Oh yeah, we're gonna send him the rematch. Oh, you know what? And we're gonna petition that Moses Atama fight him for that #1 spot instead of the rematch, because we're gonna say Fabio Wardley deserves a rematch, but Moses Atama is the #1 guy. So the next guy up. Why not make that fight first? Why not put that out there, make a bag, then send the winner back up to fight Dubois, and you got Ergovich right there who can fight Dubois while he's waiting. Another fight, another thing happening. It's a whirlwind of money for Frank Warren in Queensbury. So I think there's a lot of options there. It could happen either way. Don't know how it's going to happen, but hey man, whatever it takes, I'm with it.
Yeah, I don't know. I hear you. I don't know about that personally. I'll be honest with you, because I do think that they would look at Moses Atama and Daniel Dubois as that's a big fight if it's built up correctly. Put Moses Atama with a title around his waist, make that a unification. That's the bigger picture. I think they want Daniel Dubois. I think Queensbury has a lot of faith and money on Daniel Dubois.
Of course.
And I think they have a lot of money and faith on Moses Atama. Therefore, we bring those guys together at the end of the road. We build those guys up for the big show. I think Philip Ergovich is money and low-hanging fruit for Moses Atama. I think they know Moses Atama can beat Philip Ergovich. And I also think that they believe Daniel Dubois can go pick up another title, whether it's getting that winner, Frank Sanchez and Richard Torres, and picking up that IBF vacated title from Alexander Usyk, or even going to fight what's his name again? Mutayev?
Mutayev,
right?
Gusayev.
Sorry,
yeah.
Murat Gusayev, right. So go fight Gusayev and pick up that title. I think that fight is bigger. And I think it's like, why have them eliminate each other now? Let them go out, send them out this way, and have them meet over here. You know what I'm saying? Send them out, let them go boop, 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 like a video game, and then let's bring the mega fight, undisputed, lineal titles. They got 2 stars on their roster right now. They're 2 biggest heavyweight stars outside of those, the Tyson Furies and the Anthony Joshua's over there at Matchroom. But outside of those guys, the big star, the future of Queensbury heavyweight boxing seems to be Moses Atama and Daniel Dubois right now. It looks like that at least.
Oh. Well, the other thing too that you got to keep in mind is that so Bomac's working with Richard Torres. They're already doing the story narrative of how Richard's feeling really good and how different it is to work with Bomac, right? So should he beat Frank Sanchez, he's the only one out of all of them that's been calling out Moses.
Right.
So you could see a whole Moses beats Philip Ergovich. All right, now you got a vacant IBF, and it could be Richard Torres, the Olympian. So the storyline for Moses Itama could be, I just beat this Olympian. Now I'm gonna beat this other Olympic silver medalist. You know what I'm saying? Like,
without a doubt, man. Without a doubt, bro. No, without a doubt, that part of it is as well. Part of it as well. It really is. So, Fabio, good business move, chestnut checkers. I hope it don't blow up in your face. I don't think it will, though. I think you're doing the right thing. I think he activates the rematch. I'm going with your take, Angelo. He activates the rematch. Daniel Dubois doesn't take the fight. They pay him off. They pay him off, so Daniel can go and unify, go do something else, and Fabio gets some free money. Because in real time, Fabio, if this fight ends up happening and Daniel says okay, I don't like it for you. I don't like it for you.
Right. Hey, before we move on from heavyweight, because it is Mr. Van Houter's birthday, can you put this one up where he put, "We want Hergovich," or however you spell his name, right here, right? So happy birthday, yeah.
No doubt, Cheeks. Yeah. I know you guys want all the smoke. I know you guys want all the smoke.
Birthday, bro.
Happy birthday, Mr. Van Houter. And then I did on the CBS when I was there for Sports Wrap yesterday. I actually got the producers to show Damazian's footages, and I talked about Damazian a little bit on it. So yeah, big things will happen for Mozzie, but it's all right. It's coming. It's coming. Just not this year, but it's coming. It's coming.
Right. For sure. Yeah, he said, "Don't add to his crazy."
See, Mrs. Van Houter. I like talking to Mrs. Van.
She's like, man, let that boy get developed. You want to throw that boy into the for no reason. Let that boy do his thing, man. He doing his thing. So what else I want to talk about? In a minute, I'm going to put the link out there. Let some people come up and spin. Let me just see if there was anything else I wanted to cover here. We did the Bivol Benavidez. We did the Ryan Garcia, Conor Benn negotiations. We did the Devin Haney, Keyshawn Davis. We did the Fabio Wardley, and we did Keyshawn. Yeah, I'm going to throw the link out there real quick. It's about that time. Perfect time, as a matter of fact. Guys, here's the link. We opening up the panel. Loving to hear from you guys what you guys think about the topics we talked about. I'm super interested. Also, while people are hitting the link, Vasily Lomachenko. So I'm hearing now that he's eyeballing potentially Emmanuel Navarrete or Tank Davis, or maybe both of them in a certain order, right? What do you think about that? I don't know. Mike Coppinger has been off a little bit. He also called that Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney situation. He was wrong on that. Do you think that Vasily Lomachenko is looking, because he was wrong, right? Can we go on record and say that Mike Coppinger dropped the ball? Like, you missed that one. I don't know what the hell you were thinking. That you was nowhere near right on that shit, right? But this one right here, Mike Coppinger comes out on the show this weekend and says that he's hearing Vasily Lomachenko coming back, talking about fighting Emmanuel Navarrete and fighting Tank Davis. I don't see the money there. Without who's paying for that? Who's going to give him that? I think he's a little off on this one. What do you think?
He's off, bro. What are we doing? What are we doing? All right, go ahead.
Listen,
stop it. All right. I know we get called the Zupa channel a lot, but Lomachenko ain't doing nothing but signing with Dana. Just wait.
He's signing with the money, right?
Right, he's signing with whoever's going to offer him the most money.
Right, right. So I don't want to hurt people's feelings. Oh, you guys always make it about Dana. It ain't about Dana. It's about the money. Let's call Dana the money. Okay? Let's not stop calling Dana so we don't trigger people and get them in their emotions. Vasily Lomachenko's back for the money. He's going to the money.
Right.
Is Top Rank the money? Is PBC the money? Like, what are we talking about here?
For what?
Why would he be over there trying to make fights with those guys? I don't know. It doesn't seem. I don't know. Go ahead, Ray.
I still think. I know he has like Evis Cleavers, but I think Bob Arum still represents him in some form or fashion, even though he's not signed to Top Rank directly, because Bob Arum was the one that discovered him and brought him over here. I think there's still some ties. Now, I think that fight with Navarrete has something to do with that, just trying to get him bounced back into the ring, and they feel that's a potential opportunity for him to get his feet wet per se, because of the slick style that we've seen Navarrete face with Berichek, whatever his name is. They got the similar name.
Dennis Berichek,
yeah. So we've seen that that fight. They probably feel that this is a good fight for Loma to get his feet tested. Now, here's the issue that I have, and to go along with the second situation is the Gervonta Davis fight. That's a fight that's been put on the back burner. Now, we already know, and I would put this out there on a platform before, stating that, Loma walked away because he got the same deal that Devin Haney got. That 0% shit ain't working.
I said that the day it happened, didn't it? The day that deal went out, I told you that's what made Lomachenko not take that fight.
That 0%, bring your own bag type shit. When you're offering me a fight, ain't happening. We ain't doing that. If you're gonna pay me, you're gonna pay me like the other fighter. That's it. That's part of boxing.
Yeah, you're gonna give me guaranteed money. That's what it comes down. Very simple. Right. Guaranteed money, bro.
So or I don't see that fight happening. What I do see is a potential of we can see Loma waiting for the WBC winner with the Lamont Roach and William Zepeda. That's a potential fight at 135. Why? Because then that brings buzz back to either Shakur or brings it back to Gervonta Davis, making that for a bigger fight later down the line in the next round. I think that's where we're going to be looking at, and that where it may be heading. Abdullah Mason, I think, is too green. I don't think they'll feed him to Loma, and I don't think Loma beats Abdullah Mason. But we'll see.
I think, Ray, not to cut you off, right? Like, those fights make sense on a matchmaking fan thing, but it's real simple with Loma. Money.
Yeah,
money.
Right.
And that's where Loma will be, is with the money. Is Abdullah Mason money? No. It's high risk, low reward.
Exactly.
Is Lamont Roach money? No. He's high risk, low reward. Is William Zepeda money? No. He's high risk, low reward. Loma's in the Shakur Stevenson conversation. He's in the Tank Davis conversation as long as Tank Davis is able to allow that fight to be made outside of that PBC business model. He's into, I could see a couple of fights, but not too many. I think Loma comes back for 2-3 fights max, and he's out of here. I think Loma goes to Dana. I think Zuffa is where Loma ends up at because Loma wants to be part of big money fights. And I'm going to be real with you. I'm going to throw you a curveball here. I see Lomachenko. I wouldn't be shocked to see Lomachenko at 126 or 130.
I was going to say going down, right?
And fighting a monster Inoue at 126, potentially, if the money's there. Big mega fight for Lomachenko. So don't be shocked if Lomachenko don't even touch 135. Don't be shocked if he don't come in, fight maybe Shakur Stevenson real quick if the money's there for a Shakur Stevenson fight. But don't be shocked if you don't go down to 130 and do something down there with the sense of maybe making a catchweight fight or super fight with Monster Inoue to get some money. You know what I'm saying? Because he was always too small for 135. He just always was. It is what it is. Hold on. Let me bring up the Bandalorian. Bandalorian, salute. Bandalorian, what's good with you, man? Are you there?
What up, Clay? What up, Angelo? What up, Ray?
What up?
What's good with you, family?
Hey, yo, I'm just curious real quick, right? You know, like, hey, no offense, Angelo. You know, I know you know what I mean, Clay. You know this black stuff here. Hey, and Ray, are you from like that Kansas City, St. Louis area, all that?
No,
so look, exactly. So look, no, see, that's what I'm gonna say. See, that's why I asked, because y'all gonna say, you know, black stuff. You know, we be wearing like the team logos, like hats and stuff, even though like we not from there. So I'm like, I always see you wearing the St. Louis Cardinals hat. So you got on the Kansas City Royals hat. So I'm like, you know, I just was curious.
Well, I know the Kansas City hat. The KC came from the Negro League, the KC itself. The Royals weren't always in Kansas City. Once the Negro League's downfall and they moved over to that field, then Kansas City took over. And this is the logo from the Negro League, actually. I think it was the Monarch?
Okay, so I can see it with you, like, shit, still, like, because I'm driving, but I'm like, I see you on the screen. I'm like, oh, okay, I just was always curious to that, you know, and I said it because, see what made me ask you for sure, too, because of the accent. Like, you don't have that, like, that accent, like, you don't sound like Nelly, you don't say like Dirk. So, that's why I was curious. No, but yeah, I appreciate y'all bringing me up, man. I was actually when I first got in there Saturday, Clay, I was watching the show. So I was watching the show and I was like in the chat, like texting y'all, you know, like typing how the atmosphere was looking and all that stuff in there. It wasn't too bad, you know. I guess it's like everybody was saying from the fiasco from last year. That's why they had it kind of curtained off and all that. Like they had like the back end of the scope was curtained off, but it had a pretty solid turnout. And I told people, just off the top of my head, I would estimate probably about 7,000 people was there. So I think they had a real good turnout. Like it looked good, you know. And I got there. It's funny listening to Angelo. Hey, I got there soon as the Jan Santana fight was for the Angelo. Everybody in there from the second on, they thought Jan Santana lost. Like he was just getting punched on. I don't know what was going on. I said, I'm not one who like make excuses if fighters don't, but y'all, I don't know if he was injured or what, but yeah, I think Chicago just gave him more than he thought, you know, like more than what he bargained for, because he and D. Everybody in there thought he lost that fight, you know. So then, of course, by the time you get to that Kelvin and Pete Dobson fight, you know, people was livid by then, you know. They was like, Kelvin and Pete Dobson, they told me this ain't Dancing with the Stars, all that hugging and twisting and twirling going on out there. So it was funny, but yeah, listening to y'all talk about this place, so that's why I kind of want to come up here, you know, speak on a little bit of it. So from what I kind of gathered, so like talking to like Keyshawn after the fight and everything, like I say looking at how they did Xander. So remember they kept saying, you know, in that press conference, you know, I hear y'all kept bringing up Brad Goodman, listening to Todd Dubois, you know, Xander, and they be like, yeah, you know, Todd said I did have to explain, you know, y'all wanted to go to Puerto Rico, I wanted to do this for Xander, but he wanted this fight, you know, and then you got Javi, you know. He said, you know, Xander, like we did ask him, like, yeah, why Boots? Like, why you decided to pick him? You know, so I'm like, with them giving Xander that fight though, that tell me that he the only one who Top Rank actually gave what they wanted. Everybody else seemed like basically showcases, you know, a fight that they comfortable with them, you know, like with the fighter winning. They gave Xander that fight. I do understand Cordino, but Cordino is the WBO mandatory, so of course Top Rank, like, you know, I really just got to get past Cordino hand speed, and he should be able to take care of him. Then you got him going home. You know, so that's one thing. Xander, he sells well in New York. You got Keyshawn, he just went back home. You got Shock. I know Shock's situation. I know that's kind of different. I know Matchroom actually sent Shock that offer, so that's kind of different. But still, even he home. He in Houston. I know he's from Orange, Texas, but that's only 2 hours east of Houston. But still, you sent him there. So I'm like talking to Keyshawn. I said, man, remember like Xander, Boost was like, we were supposed to fight a Puerto Rican day, and Xander like, nah, this is always my weekend. I'm like, so I know. I said, I seen you, you can't videos on YouTube. I know you were just on vacation. I'm like, so why you ain't push it back? He said, man, so like, it's all right. That already told me, like, basically, I already knew what the deal was. So, like, he got the call when he was on vacation. Like, he got that call when he was on vacation. I know for a fact, I know he tried to fight Tito. No, he tried to fight Pitbull. No, he tried to fight Duarte. And he was actually talking too. Like he said, he was on the phone. Literally was on the phone trying to get a fight done with Lamont Rose. Lamont said the WBC. So Zepeda and Golden Boy, they came to Lamont and they said, so we're gonna try and get this fight made with you. Like if the WBC approve it, will you accept it? Lamont said yeah. So then they went to the WBC and they said like, so we have this deal in place. If y'all okay with us, and then they said yes. So then that's how they went to it. So Lamont said, well, they giving me this WBC shot. We just trying to make sure everything is a go. So that's why that fight fell through with Keyshawn trying to get the Lamont fight. So I'm like, you could tell it is like, I get everything he was saying. Him wanting better for sure. Cause like I'm saying, he was actually sending offers out, trying to get better fights and all that stuff. So, it is something to really pay attention to. Now, I am fully with you, Angelo, and it is interesting even what you were saying too, Clay. Like, I want to know if he's going to be able to make it one last time. Because y'all right. And I asked him, asked his team, asked him, asked his uncle, Al, all that. Like, they think he'll be good. And I say, I'm like y'all, even if it's one more, even if it's for this IBF fight, I said, I think you got to gut it out. I said, because you was only like that 0.2, really 0.1 when he took the boxes off. He was only the 0.1. I said, hell, 0.1. I said, hell, you can run down the stairs real quick, run back up and say, hey, let me hop on the scale and make that weight. So he said he think he can make it one more time. Now, if he gonna do that, I don't know. We'll see. Because you're all right, Clay. I know Xander, he used that same nutritionist that Shakur used, and Shakur used the same nutritionist that Bud used. They use that master nutritionist. So you're right. If you can gut it out and get that one, I think you got to go that route. You try to, and then you possibly go back and then you say, okay, we'll take that Devin Haney fight. So yeah, I want to know how it's going to play out. But I think I said maybe Keyshawn he might have hit that only two fights a year stage quicker than he might have expected. Because I'm like, he not like crazy big, but of course he is like one of them naturally bigger guys. And I'm like, he like Devin, he live in the gym. Just like, man, if you just a naturally bigger guy, and then you got like say Benavidez said if he was to go back down to 75, he like, I got to start cutting right now. He like, I got to have an almost 5-month camp. And I'm like, hey, some of them fighters know their bodies. Shakur said the reason he need time off, like from Keo, he like, man, I had a 4-month camp. They had them long brutal camps. Sometimes you got to take that time off and let your body fully heal and rest. So I don't know. I really want to see how that play out, but I think, like I said, I think he kind of got to try to like for that leverage. Because y'all right. I was even watching Manny some more earlier. They were talking about like, yeah, if Keyshawn fight Delgado, I don't think it's not really anybody who's not going to pick Keyshawn to stop Delgado, because Delgado going to come straight to him. So I don't know. Like I said, I want to see if he end up pushing it and try and make that one more time. I would say try and come back just late. Let's try and come back in like November or something like that. Shoot, that's how I would look at it. So I mean, we'll literally like this.
I think Bob.
No,
I think Bob and Keyshawn got some things to figure out. I think what Keyshawn did in that last event, blowing the weight and getting into that little mix up in the back. I think Bob is kind of like, yeah, you're gonna play my game a little bit. You know what I mean? It ain't gonna be all the way about what you want. You're gonna earn that respect back from me. You're gonna be consistent. You're gonna make the weight. You're gonna fight who I tell you to fight, and I'll let you know when we're ready to put you in a big opportunity. Now it's up to Keyshawn as to whether or not he's gonna push back at that, or whether he's gonna play ball and be a company man. Because I think that Holden here Albright fight was a like like a meat measuring, and even Bob was there, right? He was there by the ring. He made sure he showed up for that event and was just kind of sitting there like, yeah, Bob father status, like, yeah, you played with me. And I think Keyshawn, taking into consideration his brothers, his brand, everything he's trying to do, he doesn't want to end up like Tio, right? He doesn't want to end up frozen or not. He kind of wants to play ball right now, and I think that's what you're going to expect from him. So I think what he'd rather have is a big fight with Devin. He'd rather get a big payday, but that's going to be up to whoever's representing Devin, whoever's bringing the money to make that happen. Keyshawn is going to have to play ball. He's going to fight who Top Rank tells him to fight until further notice. I think that's what we're about to watch with Keyshawn. That's what it looked like to me. It looked like he was kind of being domesticated a little bit, right? Kind of humbled. Like, to fight me here, Albright was almost of a humbling situation for him. Like, man, I want to do a lot, but yeah, I can't talk too much. I got to be careful what I say. I'm going to put God first. I'm going to fight who they put in front of me. I'm with whatever, bro. But everybody knows I want the big names. I'm calling out the big names. I'm trying to stir it up. I'm trying to get into the big fights. But Bob's like, yeah, but you're a 15-0 fighter who got besides himself. When I gave you the homecoming and packed out this building, spent the money, you played me. You ate popcorn in the stands. You went and slapped around the guy who beat your brother. You're getting out of control. I'm going to humble you, and you're going to do as you're told and prove to me that I can trust you with that type of machine behind you. You know,
that's a good rundown. Even how you said it, because I'm like, I noticed that too. Because I was on like row 5 or something. So yeah, I seen like Bob, Jay Prince, and Shakur and the mayor, and they were sitting like 2 rows right in front of me. So yeah, I seen them. You know, so I'm like all that throat slashing and all that stuff is so funny. That's who Keyshawn was doing it to. Like, he was looking at Bob, and then he kept doing all that throat slashing and stuff. And it's like, the people who were there, like, who from Norfolk and stuff, they told me they didn't care. They literally, like you said, they just want him to right the wrong. Like, y'all care if he stop him anything. They were like, we just need him to win. They're like, we can care less. They're like, we just need him to win. And you can see it because, yeah, them people love him out there. Like, they genuinely love him. You know, I know it is always a risk when you do fight at home in general, you know, but like, nah, them people, they genuinely love him there. So I don't know. I do understand that part too, even how y'all was speaking on it earlier with you know, I think Ray was talking about like how he hasn't fought anybody of Devin level and stuff. You know, it's something you said, Clay, and I told Nestor, I said, it's not always a bad thing, because you said it's not cherry picking. I said, no, it is cherry picking when people pick them at the right time. But like you said too, though, Clay, it's strategic though, because it's just boxing. Like, people can be mad, but they can't be mad at Roy Jones because they're like, oh, well, he just went and won a heavyweight title. He jumped up. Yes, that was cherry picking, but it's like, that's still crazy for him to do. Bud jumped up to beat Canelo. Yes, that's cherry picking, but that still was crazy for him to do it. Like, boxing is just all about, like they say, right time, and like you said, being strategic and all that. Because I always tell people, I haven't met David Benavidez, but I met Bivol Andre Durrell, Andre Ward. Like, those, they some big guys. So I can only, imagine Benavidez, like they say he big. So I can't trip when they say Canelo cherry picked and didn't want to fight Benavidez. Hey, it is what it is, because that is a big dude. Then of course we see he just slaughtered Zerto. So it is what it is. I ain't tripping because it's boxing. So now I am hyped. This is my last thing before I leave. I'm very hyped, Clay. I'm with you. I was telling everybody in the arena who didn't know, because I'm from Florida, so heavy rock with the South. Brian Norman Jr., that was my guy. I hollered at his pops and stuff. I said, hey, we back, man. I was hyped as can be because I'm with you. I ain't Ray Wagner quick. I was telling everybody, y'all ready for the main event. Y'all ain't even got to stay down. This going to be over quick. Of course, he got him going. Now, y'all mentioning, I did not think of this, man. One of y'all, either you, Angelo, or you, Clay, goodness gracious. Y'all saying that Zepeda and Lamont fight, and y'all saying Brian Norman Jr. on the undercard of that fight against Barboza Curiel. I love it. I love it. That's what I tell you. I love y'all, man. Because y'all be thinking of the stuff that we don't be thinking. Y'all right. He got it done in 2 rounds. Get right back in the camp and try and get some type of, I would say some type of eliminator, either or. I know Barboza, I think he ranked high in the WBO. I think Curiel, he like number 3 in the WBC.
Right.
So that's interesting. They could get like a WBC interim on the line possibly if he fought him, and then you got, of course, Rocha, So, hey, I'm with y'all there all the way. So I'm hoping all that go down the way like y'all said to go down. So Other than that, I appreciate y'all, man. I'm gonna go back to listening. Enjoy the rest of my drive, man. Appreciate y'all.
No doubt. Be safe,
Yeah.
driver. Be safe, Vandalorian, man.
Hey,
Appreciate
safe,
you,
All right,
brother. Thank you,
Mandalorian.
man.
Yeah, no, the
Yeah.
Mandalorian, bro. He's such a cool dude. And yeah, shout out
Yes,
to
sir.
Brian Norman. Shout
Yes,
out
yes,
to
yes.
Brian Norman for doing this thing. Yeah, man. I don't know, Clay. I just don't want to push the kid too hard. I know I probably shouldn't do that, but
Listen,
I'm just
man.
saying, man.
You know, it's about where they are and how comfortable they are and what they believe they can do, right? Because listen, man, I think boxing is about timing. We talk about it all the time, right? It's about timing,
Right.
perfect timing when you're making these matches. And I like when fighters are motivated and they feel great. That's the opportunity. Go ahead and give them the opportunity. Make it happen. Right now,
You
we're
gotta do
watching.
as you say, like right while the oven is hot or the fire is burning.
Yeah,
You got to do it.
I talk about boxing being a higher percentage mental than physical, right? 70-80% mental, 20-30% physical, or maybe even 90% mental, 10% physical. I've heard people say that as well, right? But it's always leaning on the side of mental. So when you have a fighter who's dialed in mentally, that's the best time for him to get into these moments, right? There are arguments out there to say that, what would have a mentally motivated Manny Pacquiao done against a Floyd Mayweather if they would have got him at that time when he felt he was the best, when he felt like he was. What would that fight have looked like?
Fight, right?
Floyd may have won it, but it would have been a way more competitive fight. Right now, we're looking at Bam Rodriguez get ready to for his fight coming up. But on the back end of that victory and the right performance, the conversation is there for him to be fighting Monster Inoue. Turkey's interested in it. A lot of people pushing back at it, saying, "Oh, it's too soon for Bam." I don't know. I don't subscribe to that necessarily. Yeah, I'm be honest with you. Right now, I can't help but favor Inoue at 126. Bam's never been there. Inoue's is a pound for pound best fighter in the world. He should be favored. But a motivated Bam Rodriguez never get in the way of motivated special fighters trying to do special things, right? When a fighter is special, first of all, and number two, motivated, why take the wind out of his sails? Why mess with that guy's mojo, bro? If he feels like he can go up there and do it, bro, we're here to witness that. If that man goes up there and upsets Monster Inoue and puts on a masterclass like what Terrence Crawford did against Canelo Alvarez, bro, we just witnessed history being made, bro. And if he loses, bro, we talk about it all the time here, bro. It's not the end of the world. He loses, bro, and he moves on. He's a young fighter. But on the payday on the other side, and I'm talking about the payday for us as fans, on the other side of a Bam Rodriguez meeting this opportunity with the best version of himself that we ever seen and upsetting Monster Inoue, every boxing fan should be behind that fight happening. Nobody should be pushing back on that fight happening. Period.
I agree with that. I didn't really get to touch on the Brian Norman stuff because I was in the back. But I do want to tell you, listen, I'm glad he said what I had mentioned. Brian Norman needed rounds in that fight, but he looked good. Don't get that construed. You know what I mean? Like, not you guys, I'm just saying generally. Like, he needed rounds. He got to a new trainer. You know what I mean? You want to get the feeling and stuff, and you got a guy falling down, grabbing his shoulder. I don't even know how he hurt his shoulder. He must have been chopping wood or something earlier before the fight, because I have no idea how that happened. But regardless, I understand Brian Norman's frustration in this comment, because it's actually literally what came from me when I was speaking on it. The second thing is, I would like to see him in that fight. I like the Polanco fight. I like the what's the other guy you mentioned? Curiel. I like those fights for him. Rocha, I think that's too. I don't think Rocha got a chance. I thought Rocha went to 54 anyway, but I guess he's back at 47. Teofimo Lopez would be a great fight for him. I think that's the fight to make for Brian Norman. It really would showcase him well. And other than that, I don't see much difference. Anything else? Yeah,
no doubt, guys, man. I don't know if Angelo wants to tap into anything. I think we talked about a lot today. We talked about Fabio. We talked about Keyshawn. We talked about Devin. We talked about Benavidez and Bivol. That's a very funny, interesting thing that's playing out right there. And Angelo, I don't do this, but I told you, man, don't sleep on Benavidez, bro. When he get the real-time data, he gonna fuck around and adjust, bro. He moving towards He's
Zerto.
moving towards Jai, in my opinion. He's moving towards Jai.
I mean, Jai, thank you.
If
Sorry.
if he does it, he'll get paid for sure. But don't get it twisted, bro. I'm telling you, Jai. I'm just saying, man. All our Australian subscribers know that Jai Pattaya is not someone you play around with.
Okay.
So
No,
don't
he-
go partying at EDC if you're going to
David's
take
not
on
playing
Jai
around. Yeah,
Pattaya, bro.
you're 100% right.
All
You're
right?
100% right on that. He need to be careful
You're-
because
no.
he might be having fun making the weight, and sometimes that weight cut makes them disciplined. And when they don't got to do the weight cut, they unravel, right? So
Right.
it's like David having to be at 175, he couldn't drink and party too much. He couldn't do those things because all those things factored into him being able to have an easy weight cut versus having a hard weight cut. Some people, David, I agree with you, Angela. Like, if you haven't dropped these bad habits and the only thing that's been holding you there is the discipline, this could be a dangerous situation for you. Because if you're making 200 so easy that, man, I could drink now, I could do whatever I want to do because I can make that weight easily, that'll be your unraveling.
Yeah.
That'll be your undoing, bro, against Jai Pattaya.
Facts. What's up, Nick J? Peace, Queen.
Nick J in the building.
Yeah.
Salute, Nick. I ain't see her. Oh, there he is. Nick J. Salute. Who's DB?
Oh, David Benavidez.
David Benavidez.
Yeah, no. Hey, Queen, tell your boy to stop. I mean, I see.
Oh,
I
agree.
On
But I
his
think
Instagram,
we don't know. He could be partying.
Instagram,
He could be partying, drinking seltzer water, drinking wine.
and I hope that's what it is, man.
Listen,
I hope
you don't got to be
it's-
out there back, knocking down old fashions and
Listen,
I
don't
It's
want
just that you do know,
Clay,
that you do know that
I'm
EDC
sorry.
is not a
For the
seltzer
record,
water type party, right?
for the
You
record,
realize that.
we seen David Benavidez toasted at some of these events,
Yes.
bro.
yes.
So for the record, I don't think that's the case.
No, I hope that's not the case.
I hope
Yeah.
so, though. I hope that he is,
hey.
I hope so.
I think he's running from
But no,
smoke.
but my point being that Jai Pattaya right now, his brand continues to grow. WWE's heavy on Jai. The UFC is pushing Jai heavy. He's getting a whole new set of fan bases, man. Don't be surprised if you see Jai Pattaya on a Calvin Klein Australia commercial soon because they're pushing him hard.
That man's
bro.
face is too stoic. He ain't going to do no Calvin Klein, bro.
I'm just saying that
He
they're
need to smile
pushing him.
more.
They're pushing him so
Yeah,
hard
bro.
right now that
That
by
man
the
on that
time-
camera, all he know is
I just don't want to see him at a Calvin Klein model. Period. I don't want to see him. Period as a model. But go ahead. Carry
No,
on.
you know what, Roger? That I can't even see David Benavidez catching a Jai with an elbow because I think again people keep sleeping on Jai's boxing ability. He's gonna dance and use his feet and use his jab.
I'm going to tell you straight up. I'm selling the fight. And the only way to sell the fight is that it's competitive. There's no world in where Jai just wins and David just wins. They're going to fight the shit out of each other. Everybody's going to have their favorite going into it, how they see it one way or the other. But I'm going to tell you like this. Right now, I can tell you, you can bait Jai into a fight easily. Very easily. He's got the skills to do more, but he's a reactor in that ring at times. I've seen him get into it with Breedis. I've seen him get into fights when he didn't need to be in a fight because that's how he is. And I'm going to tell you right now, Jai needs to be disciplined against David Benavidez. Because if he gets in a scuffle with him, and David can hit him with a 6-piece combo. He's fast enough and he's disciplined enough to do it. That's what he does. So great fight.
Yeah.
Great fight. But without a doubt, this isn't a 60-40 Jai from my perspective. This is a 50-50 fight at the minimum because I think David had proved that with Zerto that you better box him and do the right thing because he can light you up. He can. Now, Jai could take a beating and keep on ticking. You know what I'm saying? He could take a licking and keep on, doing his thing. But that fight, David Benavidez can win that fight without a doubt. I'm telling you.
Well,
I'm telling you.
Yeah, no. I think Donnie 956 understands what I'm trying to say.
You think Jai will stop David? We know that. That's not.
No. The next one, he explains it. He says Jai jumps in and out and will line up that left hand. Jai is a natural cruiserweight. This isn't a blown up 168 pounder, and that's what I was going to say. That's a very factual thing that he's talking about. So, whenever people talk about David Benavidez's career, and again, I'm not gonna try to like take it apart right now in terms of his resume, but Ray Davis, who is the hardest puncher David Benavidez has ever been in the ring with? Hardest puncher.
David Morrell.
Okay. If David Morrell really knocked him down, the same David Morrell who just got knocked out by a substitute teacher.
Real quick, Angel, and I like that you said that, right? Because it wasn't even a knockdown that people believe was a slip. It was the buckle. The buckle in the
it was
round.
the buckle. He had buckle
shot
there.
He hit him with that made Davis look like you seen the glass in his eyes, bro. Yes, I understand. I got
and that's what I keep saying is that for everyone who's watched Jai actually grow up in the system, he's a good boxer. Like, he knows how to move. It's not his fault that Clay, you're right. He has gotten drawn into a fight where he has to fight. But like in the Brandon Glanton situation, he proved like, all right, man, I could just sit here and I could just box and I could beat him up so bad that he looked like the dude from Goonies, right? Those are real fists, bro. Like, whose face looked worse? I could argue between Fabio Wardley and Brandon Glanton after the fight. We'd have to look at the side-by-side picture. But Jai Opetaia got rocks for hands. I don't know. Jai Opetaia got rocks for hands. He throws them quick. He moves with his feet. He knows how to box. So, bigger, stronger, faster opponent that David Benavidez has ever been in the ring with. So,
Facts.
David, stop going to EDC. Start training right now if you want to fight Jai Opetaia.
Listen, like I said, it's a fight, man. I'm not even pushing back. I'm just saying David can win for sure. And I'm not talking about throwing no fucking, I'm telling you. You know what I'm telling you, David can win. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about like how Verhoeven can beat Usyk or how, I'm not giving him a puncher's chance. I'm telling you that fight is going to be lit. I believe it in all my heart. It's going to be a lit fight, bro. And Jai needs to be disciplined in that fight. He needs to do what Donnie said. Come in, go out. Come in, go out, box, turn, use your footwork. Don't just stand there in front of that dude and get into it like Zerto did, because your mouthpiece is no matter what anybody says, it's a mouthpiece. It's nothing more than a mouthpiece. It's not Superman. You don't got titanium in your jaw. No, dog. Don't get hit with multiple 6-piece combinations. Do not do that. David will fuck around. I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
I like how the chat is engaging though about it. Like, because that fight, we don't even know if it's gonna happen or not. For all we know, David Benavidez is gonna choose to take the money and go get Usyk or something. I don't know. I'm just saying that don't believe the hype on David Benavidez beating up Jai. The closest you'll get is what Clay's saying, 50-50, and it'll be really good back and forth talk. But I'm telling you, man, I'm standing 10 toes down. Vegas better not mess up and make Jai Opetaia the underdog on that one.
Hold on a second. Hey, Khalid, I see somebody in the background. Khalid Muhammad, do me a favor. Turn your camera. Okay, I see you in person. Just want to make sure. You don't got to be on camera if you don't want to. I just need to make sure you're good. There you go. I'll pull you up now. What's good, Khalid?
What's good, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing good. Don't go in. You Aki?
Nah, hell nah. We good. And yeah. Like I heard about you on the Voice. I seen you on the Voice a lot, so that's why I'm tuned in. I bet. So I'm gonna work from the bottom and then kind of go up. I don't think David should fight that Joey fight now. You know what I'm saying? Because it's always gonna be there, and like he could lose to him, and if you lose to him, then you lose the Usyk fight. I think he should go straight to Usyk. That's because I don't care whether he wins or loses that fight. For me, I just want to see him do it. Like, I just want to see David fight Usyk. That's just a huge event. That's big for boxing, big for David, big for heavyweights. Like, he might be like the first Mexican heavyweight. You know what I'm saying? Well, maybe John, somebody else might have been there, maybe, but like he has the opportunity to be like one of the first biggest Mexican heavyweights. That's just big for the sport. I want to see that. Like, Ja, nobody knows him. Nobody give a fuck, bro. He in Australia. Like, nobody care. He could fight. Like, I'm not dismissing him as like a real champion or like a real fighter or like a game guy. It's just where David is. I just want to see him in big, meaningful fights. And I think the Ja fight, we can kind of wait on that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah. And then as far as the Keyshawn Davis, well, let me say this one. Ryan Garcia and Conor Benn. Uh, I don't think Ryan Garcia is like necessarily world level. I don't think he's levels above Conor Benn. Like it's a huge gap. But I think that if Ryan Garcia boxes on the back foot with his jab, he has a good hook. He has a decent right hand. I haven't seen Conor Benn show the skill set of being able to box coming forward. So I think that he will lose that fight. But um, because his defense isn't good enough. His like jab isn't really sturdy enough to kind of deal with like a Ryan Garcia. But I think he punches hard enough that if he catches Ryan Garcia, based upon what Regis Progress said that was the hardest guy I've ever been in the ring with as far as punching is concerned. So I think that Conor Benn has the potential to have a land a meaningful shot, and I think that can maybe shake some things up in the fight. As far as the business side of it, I think that that's good that it's on Netflix because I think we just need big fights. I think we need both. Like we gonna get the Ray Ford and Oshaki Foxter fight. That's a huge, hardcore, purist, like great for us. Like yo, that's an excellent fight. You know what I'm saying? But then we need like the casual Netflix fight party. Everybody come together, streamer type. Well, I don't care about the streamers. I'm an adult, but it's like it's like that type of atmosphere. You kind of need that too, so boxing can like kind of be highlighted in that type of way. So I'm cool with it. You know what I'm saying? Either way. And lastly, my good brothers, man, that Keyshawn Davis, Devin Haney work. I think that'll be similar to like a David Benavidez when he fought David more like real,
Mm.
like you a young guy, probably taking this fight too soon, and then it may set you back. But it was also kind of David kind of getting the young guy out the way. But the win might not age as well. But it was still like David getting the young up and coming guy, fans was calling for it, out the way. I think that Keyshawn Davis with the eye test has a lot of things going. If I'm gonna just pivot on like the Nair Albright fight, he did a lot of good things that I did like. He did some things that I didn't like. I ain't necessarily like his inside work in that fight. I think it was a little too much clinching. I understand clinching to like break some like rhythm of a fighter, but I think we also gotta work in those ranges inside body to body range. I want to see him kind of get in there. Sometimes the slick black fighters don't want to get in that range and work. You know what I'm saying? You still got to work in that range. So I would have liked to see him do that more, uh, and then not giving in to her to clinch so much, But he did like a lot of excellent things, though. Good jab. He had some great counter punching. His speed, his like reflexes, he was kind of in and out. So he did some good things. But Devin Haney is not all bright. So I think that's just a tough fight with only 15 fights in your career, not being acclimated to like welterweight. And Devin Haney's a real guy. He's a pound for pound guy. He's one of the best fighters in the world. Like you just don't you just don't go up there and beat Devin Haney. You know what I'm saying? And it's real work at your weight class. I would like to see Gary Antoine Russell, Dalton Smith. I would like to see Andy he like Roca, even though they gonna duck him. Cause why would we fight him? But I would love to see him get some more work
I
after
love that
fight.
fight.
Yeah, like that's a great fight. But people gonna use that excuse. People gonna duck Andy Oroka. That was unfortunate. They just gonna justify not fighting him.
Did you think Gary beat Andy, or did you think how'd you think that fight went when you saw Andy and Gary Antoine fight? What do you think about that fight?
So when I first watched it, I had Gary Antoine Russell winning. I think on the second look, I was a little more skeptical. I'm like, man, I don't know if he really won this. It was a little closer than what I thought. You know what I'm saying? So Andy might have squeaked it out, but I think Gary did like enough work for the first half of the fight to maybe get those like earlier rounds, and then there was some swing rounds on the second half that like Gary might have got. But I think that like the Andy fight, I mean like those Andy rounds, he just really run those rounds like meaningfully. So that's why it's kind of like, yo, did he win? But I get a slight edge to like Gary Antoine Russell, but it wasn't a huge margin. That was Andy Oroka is a tough fight for guys at 140. Like he 5'9", 5'10", big, his southpaw, he moving. You know what I'm saying? Japanese and black, that's a hell of a combination. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, like it's a tough
Yeah, yeah.
fight. Yeah,
Hell of a
so
body campaign, and he's a puncher too. He's a puncher
for
as well.
sure.
So they
Yeah.
got to pay attention to him.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
punching shit. So I would like to see him get some work at 140 first. I think that make the Devin fight even bigger. Like, you got to get some work clear out of who's the best at 140. Like, we don't know. And you not gonna fight Shakur. So it's like you gotta get some other hardware. And then guys is pushing that belts don't matter situation. It's not it, bro. That's not it. It's only a handful of guys who can push that narrative.
Facts.
Belts build legacy. Belts increase your pay once you get them. Belts are a great marketing tool for the casual fans. All that above belts, you're just not there yet. I understand guys don't want to pay the sanctioning fees, but we in America, man. America equals scam. America equal not not treated fairly. You know what I'm saying? Not treated fairly. So
Yeah.
yes, yeah. So it's
That's
like
part of it. You ain't lying.
right,
You ain't lying, bro.
right.
You're not
Yeah.
lying.
So it's like that's just the cost of doing business in the sport of boxing right now. One of many costs that maybe shouldn't be there, but it just kind of come with it. So I would like to see Keyshawn get some work at 140, and if he does fight Devin Haney, he's not the favorite. He's not the favorite. That might be like you said, Clay. Like that might be like a 70-30 situation just because of the experience. Like Keyshawn might
I
need
didn't say
another.
that. That was Ray. I said 57. I said 57-43. I thought no. I said no. I said 50.
37,
You said
60.
yeah, but you were closer to the 70. But
Yeah,
I think it's closer than that. I think I'll say 60-40. I'm not saying I think Keyshawn got a good chance. I think he got a good chance, but he just not favored without a doubt, though. Devin is
Yeah,
definitely favored.
yeah,
Facts.
definitely. I'll go 70-30. You know what I'm saying? And but 60-40 is cool because he does have he's a silver medalist. He gonna be like he has a good incubation system with him and Shakur. He do have some Bomac experience. Maybe he'll call them in for the camp. When you fighting a guy like Devin Haney, you may want to get all hands on deck. You know what I'm saying? So maybe he can bring them back in, bring the boxing those guys. So, but I wouldn't favor him in that scrap. So
Yeah.
yeah, man. Lastly, I think the Usyk card to be interesting. I think Clay made some
Facts.
interesting points for the kickboxer guy. I'm also interested in like some of those undercard fights. I want to see what Richard
Soft Catterall,
Torres. Yep,
Richard
need to see
Torres,
that.
Sanchez.
Yep,
Yep.
Hamza
How do you
Shiraz.
Khalid, how do you like that Hamza Shiraz versus the German guy?
I
Burgett.
just I want to see if I hope the German guy is a real guy. I would have to do some research on him, which I'm probably not gonna do. I just watch the fight, but uh, Hamza Shiraz, I want to see him coming off the Berlanga knockout. I want to see like is it gonna be a consistent performance with him. So I'm interested just to see is he about to be a real guy at 168 because you arguably lost to Carlos Adames, even though it was a close fight. But you arguably lost to him. Then you stopped Edgar Berlanga. So I need to see, all right, now are we about to get these consistent fights, you know what I'm saying, as the marketing guy, as the Arab marketing guy who they about to put money behind. I'm not saying that with like a racial slur. I'm just saying like I know
Yeah,
Turkey
yeah,
backing them, you know what I'm saying? So it's
yeah,
That's
like
a
we got
golden boy,
some
the Saudi Arabian golden boy.
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I want to see that. I want to see Giasov and Catterall because I want to see why Rolly didn't want to fight him, and then I'm familiar with Jack Catterall. I've seen a few of his fights, and I need to see what Richard Torres as the American heavyweight, see what he looking like. Is he gonna we got him, Jared Anderson. We got the guy that Clay keep talking about as Zufa. You know what I'm saying? I need to see
The
what we got.
Mazian, baby.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I need to see what these guys is talking about. So overall, solid weekend of boxing as this holiday weekend, man. So hey Clay, look, this is my first I've been subscribed to the channel for a while. This is my first time like tuning in to the live. I've like heard you on The Voice, man. Y'all do an excellent job of it. Y'all just keeping it boxing, getting with the facts, breaking down matchups, also talking about the business. I like when y'all had the guy from the zone on. I like when y'all did that. So I'm gonna be tuning in a lot more, calling in because I like you know what I'm saying, I can appreciate this. Sometimes with the voice, sometimes it can kind of veer off topic a little bit. You know what I'm saying? We talking about peptides and shit. That's cool, but it's like, yo, I'm just trying to talk boxing, bro. I'm just trying to talk boxing. So man, hey yo, man, y'all, hey yo, man, y'all brothers, man. I appreciate y'all, man. You all have an excellent day, man. I'm
All right,
sign
bless.
off.
Hey, we
Appreciate
appreciate
you,
you,
Kevin. Thank you.
Khalid, man.
Thank
Khalid
you.
Muhammad, y'all. Hey,
That was
Khalid,
right.
please not only
Yeah, he had
subscribe,
great
but
takes.
share
Great
it
takes,
with
man.
everybody. Khalid, please
Yeah.
share it with everybody. That's what we do here at ATP Combat Media. We try to keep it boxing. You'll sometimes hear the three of us kind of get at each other, but I promise it's going to be about boxing. It ain't going to be about
No, yeah, it's always about boxing, but no, he had great takes, man. I really appreciate it.
Great take.
Yeah, really good takes, man. Like I love that type of shit, man. And that's what I want to encourage people. And I'm so happy what he said as far as appreciating just the boxing. You know, everybody has their thing. You know what I mean? Shout out to everybody and the thing that they do. Everybody has their entertainment factor. I'm not as animated. I'm not as antic driven, you know, like what Jay-Z say, I ain't animated like say a Busta Rhymes, but the real shit you get when you bust down my lines, right? You know what I'm saying? Yep. If you take your time and if you really dialed into some real boxing conversation, I think you can find a home here. I think you can just talk about boxing. I'm not going to agree with you all the time, but I mean, maybe even most of the time, who knows? But I'm always ready for the insight. I'm super intrigued by by a good take. Any day of the week, you know what I'm saying? Any day of the week, I'm here for a good take. You know what I'm saying? I'm here for a good take. So please feel free to hit that link, share your takes. I agree what he said about Hamza. Super dialed in what he said about Hamza. I'm ready to see the consistency, right? I saw what he did with Carlos Adames. I love what he did with Edgar Berlanga, but I'm ready for the next chapter. I'm ready for the next conversation. I want to see him continue to ride that wave. I think he will. I think that combination with Andy Lee is a dynamic that's special. I think Andy Lee and him, great mixture. The same way I think Andy Lee and Ben Whitaker is a great combination. I think that Hamza Shiraz and Andy Lee is great, but I need to see it. So I'm looking forward to see how he does in this fight. I'm not familiar with the guy he's fighting with that much either, just like Khalid was saying. So I'm going to be excited to see that. I want to see how the Bozy Ennis system is translating for Jack Catterall. He fought against Echo Usman. That fight was super competitive, and Catterall got punched on. It was a competitive fight until he stopped him. Listen, guys, I'm not going to hide it. When it comes to that Bozy Ennis system, I don't think it's for everybody. You heard? I don't think it's for everybody. I think it's great for Jerron. I think Andy Cruz is melting into it a little bit better.
It worked for Jarrell Miller.
It worked for Jarrell Miller. You know what I'm saying? I think it works for some people. But I don't know if that system is for Jack. Jack is slick enough. He's got the IQ. He's very intelligent inside that pocket. But Jack ain't been the kind of guy who I like to see, who I always pictured inside the pocket. I always pictured him as a boxer, controlling the distance, turning, being a mover. He's in that pocket. Giasov is a dangerous effort to be in the pocket with, bro.
I'm telling you. In fact, I was surprised that Khalid didn't talk about, because Giasov's been on the undercards of Boots' fights. And so Bozy's familiar with what Giasov looks like from a ring perspective, like seeing it himself. I'm telling you, man, Giasov got power, bro. People be sleeping on Giasov. I don't know.
They shouldn't. They shouldn't at all. There's a reason why Rolly did everything in his power to not defend his title against him. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason why the PBC did everything they could, legally and illegally. They shifty a little bit. They kind of played that Devin thing was diabolical, bro, because I really believe they didn't plan on fighting Devin. I believe they did that to get out of that Giasov fight. But I understand why, because I think Rolly would have lost that fight. Shout out to the Queen, said agreed that Clay. I think we're gonna see some cracks on June 27th. He's talking about Bozy right now, the Bozy system in a disciplined fighter. We're gonna have to see. I know people don't want to hear about it. Thursday, we're gonna talk and dive way deeper into that the Pyramids of Giza card. We're going to dive into that because there are some great fights on that undercard. We need to dive deeper into this whole entire Catterall GSL fight, which I think is a potential fight of the year. I'm telling you, I think there's a fight of the year candidate. Qualities of that fight that we're going to highlight. Possibly, exactly. But I just think that's a fight that people aren't talking about that much because they're so caught up on the Verhoeven Usyk fight being a hype fight. But the undercard is actually pretty nice.
No, the undercard's solid, man. Richard Torres, Frank Sanchez, I mean, even the prelim cards look awesome. I mean, you got to wake up hella early if you're in the West Coast, but the prelim cards look cool with Jamar Talley, Mizuka Ruta is on it. But yeah, no, just even if you're just doing the pay-per-view card, and if you're not, feel free to tune in to Claymore Rain on YouTube, ATP Combat Media, so that you can just hear him tell us what's happening. And I do say tell us because I ain't paying. I'm not paying for this.
All right, now stop with that shit because then you get all right. Now you're over here talking that shit. You
I'm
keep
just saying, man.
It is what it is.
They need to do better, bro.
You're not selling it, bro. You know what I'm saying? GSR versus Catterall and Sanchez versus Torres. Good fights, man. Great fights, man. Great fights. Yeah. Shout out to everybody in the building, man. I appreciate you guys. Guys, hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. Let's grow the channel. I want the channel to grow, but damn it. Subscribe to the channel. There's been well over 80 people in here. The likes ain't matching. Take your time right now. Hit the like button. Do that right now. Don't be like that. Hit the like button. You know what I'm saying?
Smash that shit.
Yeah. Right. Smash it or you can just press it. I'm good with that too. I just want to see the thumb go up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Smash it, press it, touch it, kiss it, whatever it takes. Make that motherfucker get a thumbs up, man. Let's see what happens.
I was gonna ask real quick, Clay. So I don't know what your schedule is like, but are we doing a watch party for Amari Jones on Friday night? He's fighting.
Probably. Okay. I was actually planning on doing that. That's a fight card I plan on covering. So as long as I'm not, as long as I don't have no last minute shit pop up on me, I want to do it. I don't know. Get him out of that shit though. I don't know who that is and why he doing that.
Whoever wrote that, I got to take that down. Maybe you meant to write something else.
No, he's just he's stirring the pot. Yeah, it's
okay. All right, making sure. Oh shit.
Yeah, Amari. I mean, they keep talking about how Amari Jones is supposed to be, or Virgil Hunter saying it. He's the closest thing to Andre Ward. I'm like, I don't know if you want to start talking about him like that,
man. Listen, man. It's so crazy because we always want to do that. We always want to do that, man. We don't want to give these guys their own lane, and I get it because for us, like we're older. We're all past our.
But hold on, before we go any deeper in that, because I'm trying to close the show out, right? And that's Virgil, right?
Right.
Virgil is the one person who I'm not going to argue with. If he feels that way about it, that is a trainer of Andre Ward, right? So if he feels like what he's seeing in the gym is giving him what he knows he trained from a pup all the way until, you know what I'm saying, becoming a Hall of Famer. He sees that fighter in there. I'm not finna talk about his maturity or his, you know what I'm saying? I'm just going to wait and see and be intrigued. And I'm going to wait and see. I'm going to tell you right now, Amari has not given me Andre Ward vibes. I've watched him. He hasn't done it for me.
Yeah.
But if it was anybody else, I'd push back.
He's good, though. He is good. He's good.
I'm not getting into it with Virgil Hunter. You know what I'm saying? Virgil Hunter may be the one person outside of Andre Ward himself who could be like, I see what I see. And I'm going to be like, really? All right.
Right.
I want to see Amari Jones leave Golden Boy, go to Zupa, and then I want to hear Andre say, you know what? He kind of does remind me
of me. Like, you know, like once Roy Jones said Boots reminded
Amari, not Omari.
It was like anybody who's arguing, like that's ridiculous. Hey, bro, I'm not arguing with Roy on Roy. Roy said, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is, bro, at that point. Anybody else, I'd be like, come on, bro. But Roy was like, hey, bro, I love him because he remind me of me. He just like me.
We seen how that worked out.
Roger that. So, yeah. So Omari Jones is the one who won the bronze medal in the Paris Olympics. He's under Matchroom. Amari Jones is from Oakland, and he's fighting in San Jose this Friday on the DAZN Golden Boy card that we should be doing a watch party for, but we'll see. So
see, look at that. GP so I disagree. He possesses the same tools as Dre. Bong, look at that.
Oh, but there you go.
You know I mean? I'm trying to tell you. I'm telling you, bro. Like, but you know, for me, when I say I don't see it, I'm not dissing him. I think Amari Jones is nasty work. I don't see because I think first of all, I think Amari is way more menacing. I think he's way more
meaner as a pro.
Right. He's a meaner fighter already. I can tell you that Andre Ward was not as mean, in my opinion, as what I see Amari being. Andre was very technical, but Amari is also very technical. But he's mean as a rattlesnake. He will tear your shit up. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? He's a good, regardless, and I think that's what kind of Ray was talking about a little bit about giving people their own lane, because it's like let that man get his own identity because he has something special he's working on. And then you start measuring him against those type of people, then he starts, it could help or
it hurt him. It hurts him more than it helps.
Yeah. Right. I agree. But it is what it is, guys. Hey, guys, we had a great show today. Great topics, great takes, man. Shout out to everybody who hit that link and came up here. I love the takes, man. Your takes are always welcomed up here. I hope you feel comfortable. Talk about boxing and then don't make it all fanatic, fanboy. Just talk about boxing. If you enjoy the sport as much as I do, that's what you want to do, right? And if you don't have nothing to share on the boxing, then learn, because we're talking about boxing here. And believe it or not, we're giving some pretty fair shakes to all these fighters, man. We want to see all these fighters be the best versions of themselves. So that's all we want. Great matchups, great fights. And we want to have great conversations about it, man. Appreciate all you guys, man. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, guys. It's your boy Ray, it's your boy Angelo, and it's definitely your boy Clay. And more importantly, probably, it's that ATP Combat Media, man. And at this point,
ATP. Yeah.
Gotta aim for the top like, hold up. Yeah, I can never doubt myself, I know better. All of you critics be acting like you know better. Blowing the smoke, but I know when the dust settles that I'm in my element. It's evident that there's levels to the game. All of those dark nights I got then, breaking my back to make it out, got me feeling like rain. I ain't never need your help, I know you wishing me well. A penny for your stuff, but seeing no change. I snap for the sun like Diddy. The riches got a mad ass son, I'm like Billy. I ain't never switch up, whole team with me. I'm known for my city like all ages. Set the pace as long as you finish. Consumers find a way inside your business. Babble if they try to dabble in it, and they hate the fact that they may have to witness. You try to aim for the top like this, and you're in your element with a fire like this, and they hoping you fall and they praying you miss, but it's all in the risk. I got you with the switch, you know. I'm in the zone. Give me the throne. One shot, that's all that you got. That's all that I know. Foot on the gas. 155 on the road.